Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Community Spotlight. We've got a Star Wars themed show for you all today. I was looking through the bonus games that we were going to be doing for the bonus stream a few weeks ago. Notice there were a bunch of Star Wars games. So a lot of these games are actually backup runs from SGDQ as well. Just use that as a launching point to make a Star Wars themed Community Spotlight this week. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're starting off with Dark Forces, which is a lesser known game, which will be fun to start off with. Then we've got The Force Unleashed 2, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, and Knights of the Old Republic 2. So it'll be a nice lineup of Star Wars themed games for you all. Just for a few quick announcements on GDQ hotfix related topics, make sure you tune in tomorrow for Random Number Generation. It's a show about randomizers and the randomizer communities, as well as randomizer adjacent things like bingo. They're going to have Jet Set Radio Future on tomorrow, which is going to be a bunch of fun. So that's going to be starting at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And make sure that you, if you're interested, if you are a woman in speedrunning, Fleet Fatales is currently has submissions open until September 12th. So you can go to gamesdonequick.com/framefatales for more information on that. But we've got somebody here with us today. It's Rip Chip. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, thank you.
Why don't you give us the rundown on this game? Because there's already been a few people in chat who are like, what is this game? I didn't know this game existed. Dark Forces question mark, that sort of thing.
So Dark Forces is like the game that started the whole Jedi Knight series. It's a first-person shooter, and unlike other Jedi Knight games, you're not a Jedi in this game yet, but it's got more of a focus on like traditional FPS elements. A lot of the speed tech revolving around it is a lot more like traditional FPS games. You don't have like force powers to go crazy with. So there's like a lot of elements of it as an FPS game that are mirrored to other games like it, but also has that paint, like fresh coat of Star Wars paint on it. There's a lot of elements of it that are very Star Wars-esque, and you'll definitely see that when you get through some of these levels.
So it's kind of like, would you say it's like a precursor to Jedi Knight in terms of gameplay? Like how similar is it?
Yeah. They have the same the main protagonist for the game is Kyle Katarn.
Oh, okay.
And once they went from Dark Forces 1 to Dark Forces 2, that's when the Jedi Knight series really kicked off. That's when they made Kyle a Jedi character.
Okay.
Here he's just a mercenary, and there's like hints that he might be at the end of the game, because there's like a cart scene where Darth Vader's like, the Force is strong with this one, which could realistically mean anything in Star Wars terms, but you know.
Yeah, they use that term a little loosely in modern Star Wars, but what would be like the important thing you would tell somebody who's never seen this game before you see the speedrun?
I will say, just in general, this game is very fast, so there's a lot of really quick movement just that's naturally built into the game, and in particular the category I'm going to be showcasing has a lot of that on top of some crazy movement that might be a little bit hard to follow in some areas, so just, pay attention. I'll make sure to do my best to explain what's going on the best I can.
All right. Unless you have anything else you'd like to cover, I'm ready to get going when you are.
Okay, cool. I'm totally down. Is everything visible now?
Yep. Feel free to give me
cool.
a countdown when you are ready.
Sure. So before I do that, I do want to mention one little detail about this run that might confuse somebody who's not familiar with it. We're using a command called LA-data, and that shows a bunch of numbers on the top right corner of the screen. Those are all not very important, but the last one, which is the S with the percentage, that's how many secrets are in the map and how many we've uncovered. That needs to be 100% by the time we leave each level. And we want to use this command for this speedrun because it allows us to make sure that we're verifying the run that it does, in fact, get all of the secrets. And it also lets us do certain, sequence breaks or, like, shortcuts to getting secrets and knowing that we still got them. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into this. I'm going to go ahead and give a countdown, and we'll get started in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. So, some basics about this game in general. across all the speedruns. The levels in this game can be very, very detailed and very, sometimes hard to follow if you don't know what you're doing. Some levels are easier than others, some of them are far more complicated, and it's really what makes the game so interesting. This right here we're just using to set up to get the first secret in the map, which is down here. Oh, gotta get through here. And an interesting thing with Dark Forces versus other FPS games around this time period is that instead of like going to an exit and hitting a switch to end the level, you need to complete. And when you complete all the objectives, you get a prompt saying that you can go to the next mission, and after that point you can leave the level and go to the next mission whenever you want. So in any percent, obviously we want to get to that as fast as we can. In all secrets we have a little bit of extra stuff to do. So one of the interesting things about this category and why I like it so much is the fact that you can end the level pretty early and then go back into other parts of the level to get the rest of the secrets, and sometimes that ends up being faster in the case of this one, because this level has a lot of areas to explore. And because it's just so fast to beat it and get the level over with, we want to do that first and then get all the secrets. And one other thing to mention is that when we get the secrets, we don't necessarily need to pick up the items in the secret areas, we just need to trigger that we have gotten in the secret area. So we're done with the first level, all secrets. That level was a bit more complicated. A lot of that is just knowing secret walls and hitting switches. This level's a lot easier to follow because the level is pretty linear. It's a much more digestible level than the previous one. And there aren't as many secrets, and they all kind of are along the way to getting to where we need to be. So some levels like this aren't going to be as crazy different as an any percent run would be. If you haven't seen an any percent run of Dark Forces, it's really fast and very cool. There was just recently a new record by a runner by the name of Maxim. It's super fast and super clean. But the main reason I'm doing all secrets is because it's the one category that was just a fun side project back in the day when I was running any percent, but it ended up being a really fun project because there's tons of room to find unique optimizations. There's a lot of unique speed tech in this category, and it's just a lot of fun, and I've always wanted to showcase it to a larger audience. Plus, if you've ever played Dark Forces, finding all the secrets just on your own is a bit of a task and can be very difficult. Some of the secrets are really well hidden. Some of them are absurdly cryptic on where they actually are. Some of them, I don't even know how you're supposed to figure out where they are. And I'll probably mention those particular ones when we get to them. But yeah, the levels, like I said, are based on objectives. This one was to find evidence and power on a generator, and just doing that is pretty straightforward. So this level is where we start to see some of the more unique speed tech in Dark Forces, which is explosive jumping, which is something that's not new to FPS games in this era at all, but there's some really interesting uses of it here. We're gonna get these first few secrets and do a boost here. And normally in this level, you're supposed to go through 3 different tunnels to raise a water level to get to the end of the level to complete your objective. However, if we're careful here, we can do an explosive jump straight up to the top. And that saves about, I'd want to say, a minute. And it's lucky for this category that all the first half of the secrets are all in one area, and we can just easily explosive jump right back out.
How precise are those explosive jumps? Like, what's the timing like on that?
They're pretty strict. This may look easy, but that's just because I've been doing them on and off for about 7 years. I always have been told by other runners that explosive jumping, like the TD jumps in this game, are kind of difficult, and a lot of people get intimidated by them, but once you get a feel for it, it's just a matter of building muscle memory for when you need to jump versus when you throw your grenade. So this level is pretty interesting. This is one of those levels where there's a pretty big shortcut in any percent, where you can go do your objective and then go straight back out the exit. However, in all secrets, we have to, as the name implies, get all of the secrets, and a lot of them are in areas we don't normally go. And that door is locked by a code, and we technically are supposed to find a key card to figure out that code, but it never changes, so if we know it once, we know it forever. And that little jump right there is one of the more difficult jumps in the game. You use it to skip doing an obnoxious switch puzzle to get that frick medal. That's like your main objective of this level, is to collect that. And that jump requires good timing as well as good positioning, so it's a little bit more difficult. Some of the jumps with like explosives are fairly easy. Some of them require very specific setups and timing, so it's a matter of just learning how each one works. We're gonna go down here, peek in to get a secret.
I really love the flavor of you just running through these Imperial bases, ignoring the vast majority of the soldiers.
Yeah.
And just, they're all yelling about how you need to blast him, you know, kill this guy.
My favorite thing is just the fact that it's like, you're not authorized in this area, and you just continue to run anyways.
Yeah.
So here we're gonna do a little explosive jump, saves a little bit of time. Just kidding. Now we're gonna do it, and this lets us get to another secret up top here. This just saves us having to hit a switch to lower something. A lot of the finding secrets just comes down to getting to them in more convenient ways than you normally would, which usually involves explosive jumping. Now we're going to trigger the ending of the level, but we still haven't gotten all the secrets, and that's because the last one is over here and it is faster just to get it at the end. Take a little bit of a shortcut jump here, and we're done. So this is Gromus. Gromus is probably the least interesting level in this category because it's not hardly any different than it is in any percent. All the secrets are just clustered into one area. And it's kind of interesting because some of the secrets are scattered around, some of them are a little obtuse. This one, all of them are just right in this area. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah. The level itself, we have to get through, ideally we want to get to a certain point in the level by a certain time. So you have a little bit of time to just mess around and wait, but ideally you want to get to a certain point by a certain time to save time. That's kind of like how you save time in this level, otherwise it's pretty, you can kind of just, there's not really like a super strict route you have to take to get here.
Did the game just Wilhelm while you were falling?
You say it again, sorry?
Did the game just Wilhelm while you were falling there?
Yes, it does. If you fall from a certain height, you just get the Wilhelm scream, and it's fantastic. Alrighty, so here we're going to use thermal detonators for something completely different. Not every weapon. A lot of weapons have secondary fire modes in this game. For thermal detonators, the primary fire is that it explodes on contact. The secondary fire, you lob it and it explodes after a few seconds. An unintended side effect of that is that you can lob them through movable walls and doors, and that allows us to kill that Dark Trooper on the other side there before he can even come out and fight us. There's some really interesting things with explosives and walls in this game. There's a really crazy example that'll happen later on in the run. But yeah, this level's, like I said, not terribly interesting compared to the other ones because it's pretty much just doing the any percent route, but you also just happen to go in 4 extra rooms. One of those rooms you even go in any percent to get the repeater.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's just super convenient. So, Detention Center, if anyone's ever played this game, if you haven't played this game or if you have, do know this, Detention Center is probably the most convoluted level in the game. It is a visually really impressive level because there's just an insane amount of exploration to do here, but trying to figure out where you go is really difficult, and it's never particularly clear about how you're actually supposed to get to the end unless you pay very close attention. And the nice thing about it is that there is a very big developer-intended shortcut you can take in this level to get to the end faster, but being that this is all secrets, we do have to do a little bit of exploration first. And this is also the level with the most secrets. However, these are also very easy secrets to find because you'll see in every single area there is just cracks in the wall that imply that you can just blow them up. So that makes it pretty easy. So first we're going to take a trip to the elevator to the first floor. I'm going to do some damage here with these mines. This is to help clear out the room and also to give myself good health and shields. Just a convenience thing. Death warping is something we utilize a lot in this run because anytime you die, you respawn as long as you have lives, and it'll give you 100 shields and 100 health. And the game has different checkpoints sprinkled out around it that'll allow you to, that you'll respawn in, and sometimes it's fast, and sometimes it's just convenient to die because you'll be back in a good checkpoint. With a secret here. This is like the only secret here that doesn't have an explosive. You just kind of have to know it's there. And now that we're done with all this stuff, we can actually go take that shortcut I talked about. Because, like I said, this level, casually, if you don't know where you're going, it will take you a very long time to figure it out.
I was just watching this game, like, super impressed at all the callouts to the movies. They're sneaking in, like, even
great.
Little things in the level.
Yeah, it's very much, like I said, it's a very Star Wars flavored game. There's a lot of little fan service to, like, just Star Wars in general, and later on we're gonna see enemies that are even more, you know, like, oh shoot, that's a Star Wars enemy, I've seen that before in, like, Return of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
There's a good blend of everything in here, and it's one of the reasons I like the game casually, despite some of the difficulty with navigating the maps. But at the same time, you might even say that the complexity kind of mirrors Star Wars as well. Hold on one second. There we go, okay, cool. That's another keycard thing that's locked by trying to find a code, and you don't have to do it if you already know the code. That saves a huge amount of time on that level, otherwise it'd be substantially longer. So here we're going to do a TD jump here. Normally to get to that secret you have to get a yellow keycard and ride an elevator, but again, if you just know that you can explosive jump, you don't have to worry about that. We're going to run through here. Oh god. So those pig enemies, they're fun. The way that health works in this game, you have shields and you have physical health. Shields defend against, like, blasters and explosions and stuff like that. Some enemies do melee damage, which just goes right through that and hits your physical health. If that goes to 0, you die. So the thing that's messed up about that is the Gamorreans, the pigs, their axe attack does 40 damage
Goodness.
to your health. So if you're unlucky, you will die in 3 hits. And it's obnoxious and really frustrating that it's even a thing. And there's also a weird quirk with their AI where sometimes they'll just do a second attack one after another and it will immediately just take out 80 health and you're just almost dead already. And also here we've been taking a lot of damage. That's actually intentional. In this section we have to get a keycard, and we're going to death warp at the end of it so it'll get us out of this room slightly faster. It's a convenience thing right there. You're taking a lot of damage anyways at this point, so it's worth it to do it.
Yeah, I've noticed you've been being forced to kill more enemies as you progress through the level. Like, first few levels you were shooting maybe 2 enemies per level.
Yeah, there's substantially more enemies that'll get in the way as you get further in. And if you play this game on hard difficulty, it's even worse. Funny enough, there is actually runs on hard difficulty. I don't recommend doing it because it's kind of a nightmare to do. And for reference, my record for this category on easy is like 31 minutes and some seconds afterwards. I did a run on hard difficulty and it took me like almost 15 extra minutes just having to deal with the enemies. So it's crazy here, but it's even worse on higher difficulty. So robotics is a really fun level. It's one of my favorite levels in the run, both in any percent and all secrets. This is where some of the really unique speed tech for all secrets comes in. So you're going to pay attention here. I'm going to peek over, look at the numbers on the top right, and as I'm running over this hallway, you'll notice that I just got a bunch of secrets, and I didn't even really go anywhere. So the way this game tracks secrets, it's based on your position on the, I believe it's the X and Y axis. So on the Z axis, if you just happen to be over it, it doesn't check to make sure where you are on that. So you can peek over the edges and it just counts as getting the secrets.
So the secret's like you're supposed to drop down off the conveyor belt and you land in the secret area?
Yeah, normally you're supposed to go, you're not even supposed to get it from like up top there. You're supposed to go the intended route, which is like around the way. Oh, hold on one second. Forgot I gotta get this key card. You have to go around and there's like a little tunnel you can go under that gives you all those secrets, and it gives you a bunch of ammo and stuff, but that's really long, and it was there's a guy named Weregoose who's been a huge community member for this game and has found a lot of really cool stuff. He was the one that found out you can just peek over the edge to get the secrets. A lot of this run's like optimizations and routing came from myself and him, and the original runner of this, the only other person who's done a run of this category back in the day was another runner named Cormac Hollander, but he was the only one who did it, and that's kind of what got me interested in it.
Good job. Let's blow this
So here we've done the main objective. We're gonna defeat this Dark Trooper. He's not gonna put up much of a fight because we're using a weapon supercharge, which doubles our firing rate and damage. So that super weapon that destroyed this base on the second level of the game just went down in a couple of seconds. And here we're gonna deal with ice physics. Normally we're supposed to get these cleats at the beginning if you take the intended route. It's really slow to get them if you're trying to go fast though. And visibly you're not gonna quite tell, but the ice physics in this game are an absolute nightmare. And if you're playing at the like max cycle settings on DOSBox, they're borderline broken at times. If you die and respawn on ice on one of the checkpoints, you actually can't move.
What the heck?
Because, for some reason, like, it has to do with frame rate, but, like, on ordinary versions, like, on ordinary settings, like, just at the bare minimum, or if you're playing the PS1, you can move no matter what, you'll just go really slow. But, for whatever reason, if you run it at a higher frame rate, you can just get stuck. And the only way you can not move is if you get something else to push you, like explosive damage. It's kind of weird, but there's a lot of weird stuff tied to the frame rate. And this level, by the way, I gotta mention this because this is important. The next few levels we're gonna do are some of the most unique in the any percent category because you do not see a lot of them. And one of the reasons I like all secrets is levels like this, you actually see a substantial more amount of detail in the level, and it really is fun, and you get to see a lot more there. This level, you can actually just go straight to the exit at the beginning if you do a TD jump. The any percent time for this is usually about like 14 seconds, but here it's a couple minutes because you have to get all the secrets and explore the level and go through it the intended way. There is like a theorized way you could use that to end the level early and then go back and get the secrets, but it is extremely difficult and not very reliable.
So what was the shooting the wall with the rocket launcher thing there?
So that was me just taking damage. I just wanted to lower my health so I could death warp out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's if you see me taking damage like that, shooting explosives at the wall, most of the time it's to lower my health. Anytime I shoot like a wall with a blaster or something, usually that's to manipulate enemy AI, so that it will move if it's in the way. Because some enemies are just, like, in a doorway so that they're just in the way that they need to get out of there so you can get past them. So some hallways you do want to shoot just to activate their AI and get them moving.
Yep.
And we see we got all the secrets here. We're just going to move along to the exit. This weapon right here, by the way, the repeater, it's one of those weapons that people tend to just sleep on and think it's not that good because it kind of looks, I don't know, it kind of looks dumb. It looks like a pea shooter, but it's actually really good because it's more accurate than the blaster rifle, and it also pushes enemies back, and that's the more important part. Alright, now Jabba's. Jabba's is another one of the levels. The previous level, this one, and the next one are, like I said, they're kind of the big three of this category because they're all very different compared to how they are in a new percent.
Oh, that punch
Jabba's
sound
ship
is great.
Yeah, I just punched a dragon. The only reason I'm doing that is because at the beginning of this level, you lose your equipment. You have to go find that as one of your objectives. But along the way for that, we gotta get a couple secrets. Gonna be careful here. Oh shoot, hold on 1 second. That was bad. Alright, we're good. So, I don't want to lose this shield supercharge because it's gonna make the first half of this level much, much easier. But like I said, the way that physical damage works melee attacks, they can completely ignore shield supercharge, and you can die anyways. So you gotta be very careful with that kind of thing. But yeah, normally with this level, you actually do the objectives completely out of order, and it's much faster to do it this way, but because of how the secrets are laid out in this level, you have to do it the intended way. Again, just kind of one of the more unique elements of this run. Oh geez, hold on 1 second. And Jabba's ship is one of my favorite levels, because it's like, it's got just enough rich exploration that it's fun to get through, but it also isn't super complicated. Like, you can fairly easily tell where you're supposed to go. And a lot of this is just going to be going through the level and getting a few relatively obvious secrets. If you have any other questions or things you're interested, feel free to drop one.
I just want to say it's really impressive watching you hit all of these grenade jumps, almost all of them on first try. Because just looking at it and realizing that you have to time like when you're jumping with that's...
Like I said, when people try to do this run themselves, a lot of them are like, yeah, this is kind of hard. And I'm like, yeah, it is. I know it looks like I'm just kind of nailing them all, but like I said, when you've done this for about 7 years, it's one of those things that just is permanently burnt into your muscle memory, whether you want it to be or not, so... And one other thing I didn't mention about this game is that you don't actually have the ability to quick save. Like I said, there's checkpoints and stuff and lives, but if you end up running out of lives, like something unlucky happens, you have to do the whole level over. You can't quick save halfway through the level if you wanted to. Gonna trigger him to get out of the way. And coming up here, I've mentioned there are some secrets that are really, really, really hard to figure out. I don't know how anyone is supposed to figure out that this is here. So I'm gonna pay attention because this one's actually kind of difficult to get. Oh, hold on 1 second, I screwed up. There we go. So you have to do an explosive jump to hit that switch. I don't know how there is any other way you're supposed to actually get that, and beyond that, how in the heck are you even supposed to know that's there? The worst part is that secret you get from that doesn't even give you anything. Alright, so that looked weird, but there's a reason that happened. So I mentioned how explosives can go through movable walls and doors. On the other side of that door is actually the boss of this level, which is Boba Fett. So if you kill him behind that with splash damage, you can immediately just end the level. So in any percent, this is where it's over. But again, we're doing all secrets, so we have to do, you know, all the secrets too, which means we're gonna have to go through a good chunk of this level. The convenient thing about having that sequence break available is the fact that if we couldn't do that and we still had to get all the secrets... hold on 1 second. This is kind of tricky. Alright, I'm gonna just death warp here real quick. Where did this put me? Alright. So, if you didn't have that, this level is actually a total doozy. This is one of the most obtuse levels in the game. And it requires an insane amount of backtracking to get back there once you're done with the main objectives. And there's also a really obnoxious switch puzzle you have to do. But, yeah, so the fact that we can actually kill the boss and then trigger the ending right there at the beginning means that we can get all the secrets and then just leave, and that's super convenient.
So was that the stormtroopers body blocking you, or just barely missing the jump?
Yeah, it was the stormtroopers. That'll happen sometimes. They'll get in the way, or what's even worse is that you can... for whatever reason, any attacks will just cause you to get pushed back a little bit if you're in the air. So what was happening there was a combination of being body blocked and also getting shot mid-air so that it was pushing me back so I couldn't get onto the edge. It was just one of those instances of what we call bad luck.
Yeah.
Or since this is Star Wars theme, we could say the Force was not strong with us. Alrighty, gotta get this key to move forward. We also pick up this weapon right here, which is the assault cannon. This weapon is probably, arguably the strongest weapon in the game. In any percent, we don't get this until the second to last level of the game. But since we're doing all secrets, we can conveniently just get it right here, which is nice. And there we go. So the last couple levels have been kind of a doozy. There's been a lot of exploration, a lot of secrets to get. This is kind of a nice little break, but it also is one of the more boring levels in the run. There's only 2 secrets on this map. And one of them is really frustrating because you have to get this blue key card up here. Which normally if you get a key card, your thought process is, hey, That's important for level progression. I'm gonna need this to get to a really important area. But it's actually just for a secret, and you'll see that in a little bit. So we're just gonna clear this room real quick. And next we're gonna do a series of jumps with explosives that, realistically, you shouldn't have to use explosives to make those jumps. But again, I've said there's some weird stuff with the frame rate. Making those jumps on the higher frame rates is very difficult to accomplish. And because of that, we have to use explosive setups to get across. This just saves us having to do the switch hitting that we have to do that slowly rotates everything. And this is the door that opens up with the blue keycard. It's nothing important. I remember playing this casually thinking I had found something important, or God forbid you get to this point, you see that a door is locked because you need a blue keycard. You go all the way through the level again to try and find the blue keycard, only to find that it wasn't important. That'd be frustrating. One last secret we're gonna get here. We're gonna try and peek over the edge, like I said, exploiting kind of how the game picks up secrets. Otherwise, if we fall down there, we have to ride an elevator, and that's kind of slow. Oh yeah, I didn't mention, this weapon's super cool. This is the concussion rifle. It's basically like this game's equivalent of a BFG, except it's uses substantially less ammo, so it's really nice to have. And it's carried by the Trandoshan guards, which all just happen to look like the Star Wars character Bosk. Again, just more like Star Wars-y fan service going on there. We're almost at the end of this level. And the next level is kind of in a similar boat. There's only 2 secrets we have to get.
Okay, Jan. Smuggler ship secured.
So now we just gotta wait for the end of the level to end.
Now launching. I'll see you on the dark side, Jan. Good luck.
Alright, this level's pretty linear. Like I said, there's only 2 secrets, and the fun thing is, one of the secrets we get in any percent anyways, because it gets us the assault cannon. I'm really low on health, I gotta be careful here. Just careful movement here. I will say health management plays a huge factor into where you use explosive jumps. That was really inconvenient. But whatever.
Yeah, I saw you at 2 health, and I was like,
Yeah, that just went about as good as it was going to go, so... Sometimes you can get lucky and, you know, make your way around. Other times you just end up getting one rogue blaster shot to the back, and then boom, it's all over.
Sometimes you just gotta play it fast and loose in the name of speed.
What's up?
Sometimes you just gotta play it fast and loose in the name of speed.
Exactly. Now we're gonna do a mine boost up here. This saves us just having to do some platforming. There's the assault cannon we normally get in any percent, but again, we already have it because we got it in the previous level. Or no, one of the previous levels. We got it in Imperial City. And there's this secret here. So there goes the 2 secrets for this map. And now we have a gauntlet with these Dark Troopers, and again, the assault cannon is super overpowered, so taking them down is absolutely easy. And one other technical thing about the game that you may or may not know is that when you hold the button to shoot a gun, it will fire at a fixed rate. So, for the most part, most guns will fire at the same rate as if you just mashed the fire button. Some weapons, like the assault cannon and the repeater, will actually fire faster if you manually shoot rather than holding fire, which is a really weird thing, and it's only certain weapons that do that. And here we just need to wait. Fortunately, we can't speed this part up.
How fast do you have to click with those weapons to get the optimal, like, fire rate?
It really just comes down to as fast as you possibly can. I don't think it's, like, uncapped or anything, but obviously if you can shoot faster, you'll get more bullets out, and that can be really useful for certain enemy encounters. And now we're on to the last level of the game, Arc Hammer. This is another level that can be kind of daunting casually because of its size, but it's one of the most fun levels in all secrets. We're gonna do a setup here to fight this Dark Trooper there. I should have mentioned, if you didn't notice it already, there are 2 types of Dark Troopers. There's the big bulky ones that shoot you, and then there's the ones that do melee damage exclusively. They look like skeletons. That one down there, we just set up so that he moves forward to barrels, blow up the barrels, and then use the concussion rifle for the rest of the damage. The melee ones in particular are annoying because, hold on one second, they can sometimes deflect shots, so if you have something that does splash damage, that's your guaranteed way to do damage to them. Alright, secret there. And it's important that we actually killed that Dark Trooper. You might think it might have been out of the way, but for whatever reason, if you don't kill that Dark Trooper, this area gets completely blocked off until you do.
Interesting.
And there's nothing indicating that that's what you're supposed to do.
So there's just some trigger attached to him or something?
Yeah, it's one of those ones that's not abundantly clear, but you just kind of have to do it. I guess the game thinks like, oh, there's a Dark Trooper, I should probably kill it because it's, you know, it's a big enemy, but there's no way to know that that's actually tied to some other trigger.
It's not super uncommon for games from this age to have just like one enemy you have to kill sometimes.
Sometimes it is, but usually it's like the big enemy and it's towards the end of the level that you have that kind of thing happen. There it's just like this random part at the, you know, the first half of the level. So we did some damage and death warped out of there to save some time. We got 2 more secrets before we've discovered all of the secrets of Dark Forces. And I do want to mention, because this happens a lot, anytime I do this run, anytime somebody sees it on YouTube, people are going to be like, oh, you missed this one secret area that I think is a secret because it's not very, you know, well known. And that's all fine and dandy, but the game doesn't count it as a secret, so it's not part of the run. And there's a lot of those in this run. There's some areas in the game that look like they should be secret areas, but they totally aren't. There's also some levels where you'd think, oh man, this would be a great opportunity to throw some extra secrets in because of how it's designed, and that opportunity also gets missed sometimes. So we're going to take this conveyor belt and we're going to fall off here because it'll get us to the end of it faster if we just do, once again, another explosive jump. And once again, we're in that scary zone where I only have 14 health, so I hope I don't get hit. And here... Okay, there we go. That was expected. So here we have a switch puzzle we actually have to do. And the way I do it optimizes just hitting them so we can hit other ones while certain switches are waiting, because some of them take longer to hit again because they have to like recycle their position. It's weird to explain, but just know that what I'm doing is optimal. And now we're going towards the final room of the game, where we have to fight 2 Dark Troopers and then the final boss. Got any bets on who this final boss is gonna be?
Darth Vader.
We'll see in just about maybe 20-30 seconds. Gotta get through these guys first.
Somebody said covert muffin in chat.
Shoutouts to Covert Muffin, he's good people. Alright. And if Muffin's by chance watching this, I hope you eventually try and get a better time in Dark Forces any percent, because your time's terrible. Just kidding, I love you. Anyways, final boss, get ready.
It's been a long time since I've challenged a man to battle. I'm glad my opponent is so worthy.
Alrighty. So, unfortunately this boss is not Darth Vader. It's not anything cool at all. It's basically just an upgraded, quote-unquote upgraded Dark Trooper. But it's very easy to kill, so it's kind of disappointing. And time's coming up right about now. So that was Dark Forces All Secrets. This run is very intense. There's a lot of things that can go wrong that can set you back, but it is a very fun and rewarding category. Like I said, it's been a side project of mine for a very long time, so it's fun to actually showcase it for something like this. And if I have the chance, I have one last secret I do need to show everybody.
Sure, go for it.
It will only take about, like, 30 seconds.
Okay. Do you have any shoutouts while you're doing this?
Yeah, so before I do any of that, let's go here. There's a section on this level that requires... Well, you're supposed to use cheats to get here, which is like the LA Pogo cheat, which basically removes vertical height checking. But if you just happen to know it's here... Not there, I missed the jump, sorry, don't acknowledge that. yeah, if you just happen to know where it is, it's actually just an invisible wall that you can go through that leads to this secret area, and if you don't know what it is, you're in for a treat. While I'm doing this, I do want to shout out some other members in the community. Like I've mentioned already, shout outs to Weregoose, because the dude just knows a ton about this game. Here's our little buddy, the Ewok. Isn't he adorable?
Oh my god.
Anyways,
Face.
so other shout-outs to two particular runners, Vrindar and Circles, who pushed this game to its absolute limit. It's kind of crazy. They're both incredibly talented. Shout-outs to Maxim, who just recently got the world record, also very talented runner. And other shout-outs to like early community members like Cormac Hollander and On2 Planks, who were basically like the foundation of the run itself. And yeah, shout-outs to you guys watching. Shout-outs to Railcoon for being a cool dude, and thanks you guys for having me on the show. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of the Star Wars runs. There's a couple of other really cool ones being showcased tonight.
Yeah, thanks for being on. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, man.
I haven't seen this game in a
fun
really
time.
long time, so it was a blast.
Yeah, it's an interesting experience. Like you said, it's lesser known, but it's a fun run. So yeah.
All right.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you very much, Rip Chip. We are going to take a break before we switch into our next game, which is going to be Star Wars The Force Unleashed 2 by Lifelike. So stick around for that. We're going to go to a short break and play a few ads before that. So if you have a subscription, you won't see those ads. Once again, ads and the subscriptions and bits help support hotfix content. So if you got Prime Gaming sitting around, feel free to toss that around in to not catch those ads. But we'll be back in just a few minutes with the next run. Welcome back, everyone, to the Community Spotlight. We are back with Star Wars The Force Unleashed 2. So thanks everybody sticking through that break. We've got Lifelike here and Zojulix who are going to run through this for us today. But as a reminder, we've got 2 more games coming up. If you'd like to see what we've got coming up today in our Star Wars Spotlight, you can do ! Schedule in chat. And also, as a quick reminder, the Community Spotlight is a show about community-suggested games. So if you have a game that you think deserves the spotlight, so to speak, you can type ! Spotlight in chat, and there's a form there you can fill out to suggest games for the show. Or you can go to gamesdonequick.com/hotfix/spotlight-form to let us know there as well. But with that out of the way, Lifelike, Zojulix, how you both doing today?
I'm doing good.
Zojulix?
I'm doing pretty good. So yeah, Lifelike is going to be doing Force Unleashed 2, and I will be assisting him on commentary, and I'll let him take over since he's the man of the hour.
Yeah, if people haven't seen this game before, how would you introduce it to them? Like, what's the quick pitch you would give for people who are not familiar with this game?
It's an action platformer. It's got some RPG elements. You can level up certain abilities, force powers, things like that. Yeah, understandably, it's a sequel to The Force Unleashed 1, which came out a few years earlier. Arguably, the first game had the better story. The second game, you know the saying, worse games are always better speedruns, and I think that holds true for this series.
Yeah, that definitely comes into play. The way that I kind of describe it to people is The Force Unleashed 1 has a better story, but personally, I prefer the mechanics of Force Unleashed 2. So I've put a lot more time into the Force Unleashed 2 speedrun than I have the Force Unleashed 1, whereas I think, Lifelike, you're the other way around, aren't you?
I think mechanically the second game is the better game. It's a bit more consistent for the most part. The bosses are less random. The first game just has a lot of weird quirks. Like it was overly ambitious, I think. Like it had 3 different physics engines that all ran at the same time, and just weird things could happen. I think they locked a lot of it down for this one.
All right, is there anything you feel like you should cover before we get started, or are you just ready to go?
I think I'm ready to get going.
Okay. Then I'm ready when you are. Zojalix, why don't you give us a countdown?
All right. Well, okay. So first of all, Lifelike is going to go ahead and just set up his new file, and then we'll go ahead and count down. So timing will begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so first off, we're going to get a short little tutorial, and it follows the rule of threes. It's going to teach us about 3 abilities that the character has, and I'm going to have to use each one 3 times once this loading screen ends. I should also mention this. One of the things that we do for speedrunning this game is that we delete all of the video files for the cutscenes, because if we don't do that, the game likes to crash a lot. Like, it would happen at least once in every single level of the game.
I'm not getting sound. Let me check that on my end.
No, I can see that in OBS.
Yeah, it's a totally for some reason I was trying to do runs, and like I would go to like load up the game, and I wouldn't even load into the first, like, sit and pause. So normally how it would happen is you would go into the game, and the cutscene would play, and then you'd pause the game in order to let the cutscene load, because all of the loading screens are masked into the cutscenes, and so you can actually pause the cutscene and let it load, and then hit the button to skip. And since we use a loadless timer, then your timer is paused while you're in the cutscenes. Well, it then ended up happening where anytime I would go to pause it, the game would just crash, and I don't really know exactly what happened in that situation at all. And so then it just ended up where we just decided we were going to remove the cutscenes. As much as that kind of takes away from the legitimacy of the run, it also makes it so that way you can do more runs without having to sit and fight with crashes all the time. And so runs ended up becoming a lot easier to complete and not be frustrated with constant crashing.
Did you get the sound going through? Because I'm still not quite getting it.
No, I'm not sure what it's doing right now. Had it working. No, it's just not picking up audio.
We can pause for a second to get this resolved, because I think this game would be a lot better with sound.
Yeah.
That's true.
Sorry about that, folks. This was working earlier. We did the test not that long ago. So we'll try and get this resolved.
No, looks like it's working.
Yeah, there we go. I hear sound now.
Okay. And so we get to this section here. It's sort of an auto-scroller, but you notice I'm using this dashing ability, which in this instance actually does make me fall faster. So it is nice that we get to save at least a little bit of time in what is essentially an auto-scroller. You also kind of see this little blue haze around my character every time I dash, and that's because dashing, or an ability called Dashing Blast, is a combination of dashing and force push, and it has the properties of both of those things, so that's how I'm able to break through a lot of obstacles without taking damage as well.
And Dashing Blast is getting... Go ahead.
I was say, because we're running on the easiest difficulty, we don't have to concern ourselves with damage too much. It's one of the advantages there, and so it's just faster to run on easy because things like bosses have less health, so it's just faster.
Yeah, Dashing Blast is going to be a mechanic that we're going to abuse a lot of throughout the game, just using it to skip a lot. It's for a lot of small skips that you wouldn't think about. You wouldn't even really notice it if you haven't played the game through casually. But for a casual player, you notice we'll skip a lot of really small cutscenes using Dashing Blast.
Somewhat tricky jump right here. It just skips a small puzzle where I'm supposed to pull out a platform to make the jump. There is another small skip right here. I'll go for it once, but it's fairly tricky. I didn't get it. It's just barely possible to jump around that and skip this short little fight here.
It's really, like, a lot of this level that we're doing as a starting level is easily the most optimized. It has so many small skips and stuff that only really save like 10 to 15 seconds, but messing them up can actually be a pretty devastating time loss. So some, like, we don't utilize, at least in any percent, we don't utilize all of them. I know the New Game Plus World Record holder, he utilizes most, if not all, of the really minute skips. But they're so technically difficult to pull off that in some ways they're almost just not worth, because it makes this level significantly more of a reset point than it already needs to be. So actually, we're going to talk about movement here for a little bit. The primary form of movement, as you can see, Lifelike is using his dashing ability. But what you guys don't notice from behind the scenes is at the end of every single time that Lifelike presses the force dash button, it actually, at the very end of the dashing animation, Starkiller kind of stops and lands for a split second. Well, as sort of a way, we wanted to figure out a way that we could maybe cancel that animation, because it takes about like half a second every time he does that animation in order for him to be able to move faster. And we tried a lot of different things, but what ended up being the solution was if you just jump and then dash immediately after jumping, you will then be able to do the optimal form of movement. So coming up here is also the first major skip in the run. I'm going to be talking through it so that way Lifelike can focus. And the way that this skip is going to work is Lifelike is going to dash all the way over to the end here, and then he's going to do a very precise double jump and dashing blast in order to jump onto the turret, and then there's this invisible wall that he's going to jump onto, which he missed the invisible wall, but he's still able to get the skip because he can use this damage boosting to help him get over. But this saves a couple of minutes because you skip a lot of these different fights. And then and we'll go into the damage boosting mechanics later when they become a lot more relevant, because we have another big skip coming up here where Lifelike is going to jump up onto these boxes, do a double jump, and then a 3 aerial strike combo to get up onto this gunship. And this gunship is going to carry us out of bounds, and conveniently enough, no idea why this works, but it is going to conveniently carry us all the way to the next trigger, to another checkpoint trigger that we need in order to advance the level more. So Lifelike is going to land here. You'll see in the bottom right corner that the checkpoint is going to activate, and then he's going to dash back, and that's going to actually skip this long dashing section, a section where you have to throw TIE fighters, and then skip more cutscenes to get here. And then, but because Lifelike is doing this, the game is going to kind of freak out. And with the way that the game kind of freaks out is it doesn't spawn these ATSTs in here that are necessary in order to progress the level. So when Lifelike gets to the checkpoint that activates this ATST section, he's going to reload the checkpoint, which is going to spawn the ATSTs in, and then he can activate his Force Rage to use to just go ahead and kill the ATSTs super quickly and then finish up the level really, really fast. So yeah, this is easily the most optimized level in the run, and it's ridiculously insane as to a lot of the different skips.
It's a very reset-heavy level if you're trying to grind out a good time.
Yeah, specifically that first trick, just trying to jump onto the turret for the first major trick is really, really hard.
Yeah. And so here's another instance of the damage boosting. So the way the damage boosting works in this game, it's kind of an involved explanation. So you have a double jump in this game, and we'll just refer to it as a jump counter, which usually starts at 2, and you lose 1 each time you jump until you use your double jump, you can't jump anymore. But if you take enough damage while you're in the air, that actually resets your jump counter, so we can use that to cross some distances that we really shouldn't be able to. You just have to deal with these 2 enemies. The quickest way of doing that is just to toss them off the edge, because the death plane's pretty high up below the platform we were on.
Hey, you actually got the grapple on the second one. For some reason, in all of my runs, he always repulses and then just sort of flops onto the ground, and then I have to force grapple.
Yeah, that
So
was
here
really
for
nice.
the
That was,
damage, yeah, that was really good. So now we're gonna get this quick little annoying tutorial, and then here's where, as you saw, the damage boosting there, the way that we really abuse the ability to damage boost is if we do a 2-strike combo to kind of suspend ourselves in the air and then use Force Lightning, we can kind of just sit there and float for a while. And normally you would think, doesn't that use a lot of force? Well, yes, but for some reason this game is a lot more nice to you about how much force you end up using. And so we'll use a lot of force and won't have to... I don't think I've ever had a run where I've lost all of my force.
I've had it happen a couple of times. It's pretty unusual, though. Okay. Just kind of ignored one of my inputs there. That's one of the annoying things with this game, is sometimes the inputs don't really go through.
Yeah, that can be really frustrating, especially too, because like each time you die, like yes, there's a loadless timer, but because of the way the game works, sometimes you can go so, like, you'll see it happen a lot, where you'll go so fast that enemies just won't be there, and that ends up being super nice because then you don't have to deal with them later and they don't just like randomly get in your way. Like that walker there that was trying to shoot missiles at us, normally it wouldn't be there, but because Lifelike died, we ended up having them respawn. And which is also why when we come here we reload the checkpoint, because there's supposed to be enemies that are there, but then they aren't there because we go really fast and we can't progress through the level without these enemies being there.
Yeah, you know, it's like at the end of the first level I reset a checkpoint by quitting out to main menu and then continuing, but every time I'm going to reload a checkpoint now, I'll be swapping my costume instead. And that's because it's a faster menuing and also a shorter loading time.
And then here he's just gonna, so there's gonna be the small cutscene that's gonna spawn more enemies. And for some reason, we don't really know why, but when you reload the cutscene, it just lets you go on this elevator, but it wouldn't let you do it if you didn't initially reload the cutscene. It doesn't really make much sense, but when it comes to both the Force Unleashed 1 and 2, they don't really make much sense, but they're still great speed games.
Now, the section we're doing right here is one where we're running away from a gunship. Normally there would be a section like this in the first level, but that skip we did completely avoided it. A little annoying thing about that is the ship always keeps up with you no matter how fast you're going, so even if, with our dashing technique that moves faster than we're supposed to be able to, there's no way of actually gaining ground on that gunship. It will always keep up with you.
Yeah. And so the skip that's coming up right here I call it Casino Skip. I think that's what the official name is. I don't know. But this is the only instance of an actual out of bounds in this run. And Lifelike is going to just jump around these textures here and find just a hole that's going to let us come out of bounds, and then he's going to fall on this very specific spot and hit a checkpoint, which is then going to, once he hits the checkpoint, he reloads it and it skips this entire long section of having to fight enemies and break some elevators and fall down. Overall, it saves a couple of minutes. And if you want to know what that segment would be like, watch an all holocrons run. And I say that because I am the only all holocrons runner of this game.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice skip. Definitely glad it's part of the run. So here we've got this door. It's being frozen shut. The game wants us to think, we have to clear out all the enemies in the room before we can leave. But we can... let me do it. Yep. We can manage to break the door without being interrupted. We can just leave.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think freezing a door would help a lot against lightsabers.
Well, see, you would think that, but we don't really use lightsabers to open doors. We have to use them, and intense force push. Oh, I guess, yeah. Sorry, I said that the casino skip was the only out of bounds. I guess the gunship skip would also be considered out of bounds because you're not supposed to be over there. I'm just not used to that because before we wouldn't have the out of bounds segment. Like that skip was found like within the last 6 months, I think.
Yeah, it was pretty recently, especially in terms of this game. So, I mean, for reference, I've been running this game since about 2015. Like, the first run, I think I ended up getting a 201. So, it's come a long way since then. The section that we're in right now is an auto-scroller again. There's not a lot I can do to speed this part up. I just have to fight this gunship. It's going to throw some rockets at me. It's going to shoot at me. It's trying to destroy the train that I'm standing on. Yeah, also, you know, it's not all
going for grips.
It might seem like a problem that not all of those rockets went back and actually hit the ship, but this part is entirely on cycles. It only fires so many. And sometimes the physics are weird, like right there, where I didn't even deflect them. They all just hit each other and exploded on the way.
It was like, is that because he did enough damage, or is that just random physics stuff?
It's just random physics. There are a lot of things that if you want to ask us, like, how this works, probably our best explanation is going to be, it just kind of happens. Like, we get some of the weirdest things that happen in this game. But yet, it's always just a game that keeps on giving.
It's right here. I'm going to grab Force Point Holocron. It was under that platform, but luckily the hitbox extends just enough that I can grab it by standing on top. And that gives me just enough to level up Saber Throw to level 2, and that's going to be pretty important for the boss coming up after this level. Here's another somewhat tricky skip that uses damage boosting. This time I'm going to rely on these snipers to do the damage. Oh. Can one of them hit me here? No, I'm going to have to retry that.
Oh, man,
Does getting hit just like refresh your jump and everything?
Yeah, so if you take enough damage in the air, it resets your jump counters, so... so like, the attack from these snipers does enough damage, but a regular stormtrooper shooting me wouldn't.
Does it have to be one hit, or is it like cumulative damage?
That's one hit.
Okay. Sorry if you explained that already. I was fiddling with tech stuff, so I wasn't quite hearing all of the commentary.
There we go. So with that skip, there are a couple of laser barriers you're normally supposed to break and take down, and there's enemies you usually have to fight before you can do that. And doing that skip bypasses 2 of those barriers entirely.
Alright, so coming up here, Lifelike, are you going to do the new bridge skip?
Not sure which one the new one is. I'm going to do the one I always do.
No, you're doing... Okay. So, there's a way that you can get on the gunship, but... so, what Lifelike is doing for this skip is there are these invisible walls that Lifelike is going to be going, and he has to very carefully dash diagonal and dash back. And the invisible walls actually extend just slightly beyond the actual platforms themselves. And he very, very cleanly got those. That could arguably be considered the most difficult set of tricks in the game because of how precise you have to dash in order to bypass those invisible walls. So that was really, really good. And kind of what I explained earlier, well, not really mentioned, I mentioned it, but there's actually, if the moment you go into the bridge, you can actually reload the cutscene and climb on that, reload the checkpoint and climb on that gunship that flies away. But that is extremely precise as well. It's not as punishing if you mess it up, but it is still pretty difficult to do, and I think it only saves about 2 or 3 seconds over the method that you just saw lifelike.
So right now I'm in a boss fight with this gunship that we've been running from for quite a while. The game kind of expects you to hide behind those barriers so you don't get shot, but if you dash back and forth, you're just moving too fast for it to hit you anyway. And unlike when we were on the train earlier, this part is dependent on how many rockets I get to hit the ship, so I'm using grip to throw some back at it, rather than just reflecting like normal. And after 4 hits, it should be enough to push the ship off to the side. I've done that twice now, so that ends that fight. And now we've got a nice little quiet segment before we get into the first actual boss of the game. Like this nice, slow elevator. Unfortunately, the loading area to get to the boss fight is at the very top of this elevator, so we get to wait for it to go all the way back up.
The nice part, though, is to kind of speed it up is if you can double jump while you're in the elevators, it will actually, you can hit the loading trigger just slightly earlier than if you were to wait the entire time for it to go up.
So here we get the first boss. It's a big one.
No time, General.
Literally.
What the hell is this thing?
I have no idea, but it's big.
Got a fairly specific pattern for ways that I deal with this boss. I'm going to start by just spamming lightning as much as I can. I could hold down the button and just fire a constant stream of lightning, but I found it uses less force and actually applies more damage if you spam the button instead. This is also the first instance of QuickTime events where it wants you to mash. And one of the things with this game is with that type of QuickTime event, the faster that you mash the button, the faster the QuickTime event will end. Which is kind of nice that we actually can save some time on, something as scripted as a QuickTime event. But also a little bit annoying because the speed that you have to mash at can be a little tiresome.
Yeah. And then another thing you notice Lifelike doing is to try to do it, the timing on it is kind of precise, but when the Gorog goes to like roar at it, you can actually use your reflectability to block the Gorog from actually hitting your lightsabers. Or from hitting you and knocking you down, and it will still actually cancel out the animation, allowing you to spam lightning faster. And then Lifelike's going to do these couple QuickTime events to do an insane amount of damage, which is then just going to reset going into the second phase. Well, I'd say the second phase of the first stage of this boss fight.
Yeah, this one thing that I think is a downgrade from the first game, in that the boss fights like this one have a lot of phases, and it becomes a very long fight with just this one boss.
It becomes really long, and some of the boss, like the phases of the boss fight too, especially when you have to like repeat this, it can be just kind of long and repetitive. And eventually you just get to a point where you're just like, can we please just be done with this boss fight? I think that would probably be my biggest gripe with this game in terms of the way that they structured it is the boss fights, because it just feels so long.
Yeah. I mean, the second boss isn't bad, but this one and the final one both drag on a lot longer than they probably need to. Another thing about the QuickTime events in sections like this one right here, it doesn't matter if you press the buttons early, as long as you're pressing the right button when the prompt appears, so I can actually predict which way the Gorog is pulling and then already be hitting the right button.
And another really fun thing that kind of another behind the scenes thing is some of the QuickTime events are going to tell Lifelike to hold right trigger, but yet with to initiate some of the quick time events by holding right trigger, which oddly enough, it's only a suggestion. You can just press right trigger, and then the moment the game initiates the quick time event, you can let go of right trigger, and the game will just let you, and it'll be like, yeah, no, it's fine. We don't actually need you to do that anymore.
Yeah, I think there's only one instance where it actually requires you to hold. I'm not sure though.
I think the only instance is in the Vader fight that I can remember.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. Alright, so now we're getting to the second phase of the Gorog fight, and remember a little bit earlier I had upgraded Saber Throw to level 2, and this is the phase where that becomes important.
Ow! It's a hanging city. Listen, see what you can do about those supports.
Also, one kind of funny thing that in a game like this where it's built around, you have lightsabers, you're a Jedi, you should be using your lightsabers. This whole first boss, you pretty much can't use melee attacks on it at all.
Yeah, I find it really funny that they call this game The Force Unleashed when the primary combat that it wants you to use is based around the lightsabers. The first game I feel like well, depending on which port of the game you use, the first game is very much a lot more Force focused, and you really open up your combat through using your Force powers a lot more, whereas in this game, you're just supposed to just get creative with your lightsabers because you have 2 of them, and so they become a lot more relevant than just having 1 like you have in the first game.
And of course, there is no real explanation for why you have 2 lightsabers in this game when you only had 1 in the first game. You just kind of do.
You're suddenly a lot more intimidating with 2 lightsabers than 1.
Especially when you hold them like backwards behind your back like that. You start swinging around like a ninja.
It just adds to the swag factor.
So you also might notice that I'm jumping into the air before charging up a saber throw. That has a lot to do with the attacks that the Gorog has in this section. There's kind of a 50-50 chance he'll either try to smash you with his right fist or he'll sweep his left hand along the ground. By jumping in the air, if he does the sweep with his left hand, you get to just dodge that automatically by being in the air while you're charging the saber throw, so that's why I do that. And you can see why leveling saber throw is so important for this, because it does so much damage in this phase that the thing hardly has a chance to attack.
It's a really interesting thing about that small cutscene right there. Lifelike didn't do it just because it can be extremely risky because you have to play with a really funky camera. But you can actually like move in that last cutscene before you get to this one here. But the camera angles are so janky that
at the start of it, you have to move while you're off camera entirely.
Yeah, and that can just, if you move wrong, then it gets rough. But yeah, so we finished the second stage of the fight, and guess what? We still have one more.
Yeah, fight's not done yet.
I wonder if they'll get the funky camera on this.
So this is another section like the first level of the game where we're falling, except this time we're actually chasing something, but again, spamming dash actually does make us fall faster. So I'm going to be doing that. And then I'm going to try to push as much damage as I can, as fast as I can in this section. I'm going to be using a combination of saber throws and lightning, because I can hit with lightning while the sabers are still in the air, and that just gets damage through a little bit faster.
So then it's just going to be rinse and repeat on this segment for 2 more times he does it. So, but then we are going to be finally finished with this boss fight and be able to move on with the rest of the game. So if people don't really know kind of how the basis of this game works, we aren't actually the original Star Killer. We're actually a clone that was haunted by...
As far as the story of this game is concerned, it tries to leave that an unknown at the end.
That's true. It doesn't confirm.
Yeah, it starts out with Vader telling you you're a clone, and you've got every reason to believe you're a clone because with the good ending of the first game, it strongly implies that the original Starkiller dies. Spoilers.
Yeah, but then in this game, we're just going to keep referring to him as Starkiller, because that's a lot easier than trying to figure out what exactly is going on with him. But basically, Vader has you convinced that he's a clone, and he's haunted by visions of Juno, and Juno was his pilot when he was in the first game. Or as I constantly refer to Juno, is Starkiller's waifu, because every single part of this game the story of this game is revolved around Starkiller trying to get back to his waifu. Like, he's here rescuing Coda, but it's only for the sole purpose of Coda knows where Juno is. He doesn't really care about Coda at all.
Yeah, that's kind of one of my issues with the story of this game. The first one had a really well thought out story all the way through, but the second game, the whole thing is just find Juno, save Juno, and that's about it.
Yep. And so everything that we do, except for this level actually has nothing to do with our waifu. Before we actually go find our waifu, we have to go on this journey of like self-discovery. But this ends up being the shortest level in the game. It is less than a minute long, and majority of that time is that small cutscene of him leaving the ship and looking around. But Lifelike's going to grab this quick experience point holocron, and then he's going to dash all the way over to this cave, grab another experience point holocron, and that's the end of Dagobah.
So now, if the cutscenes were still in the game, we would see one right here. Well, we wouldn't really see it because we'd skip it, but there would be one right here of him talking to Yoda on Dagobah, kind of going into the cave like Luke and that's episode 7. No.
Episode 5.
My numbers are all wrong. 5.
Episode 5.
I wanted to say 2 because I'm used to the original trilogy being the only one.
Even if it's only a symbolic victory. Have you told her that I'm with you?
I'm not used to that, but I'm a wee baby, so...
Better that she sees
The prequel trilogy is a fanfic. That is my position.
What does that make the sequel trilogy then?
I don't know. Haven't decided yet.
Beginning to think.
So, whereas the last 3 levels that we did were very skip heavy, the next 2 levels that we're going to be doing are significantly more focused on movement. There aren't as many major skips that are going to be happening in these next 2 levels, because we actually have a ceiling that we have to adhere to for most of the levels. And so this is, honestly, if you're looking at getting into this game, it is extremely important that it is actually extremely helpful to practice your dash canceling by just playing this level and the next level over and over and over again. Because there's a lot of different ways to utilize the movement. And also, I think these are the levels that are easiest to get lost in, because there's a lot of side routes and stuff that you can do to grab holocrons. And so, definitely, like, using these 2 levels to practice is super beneficial. Also, I see Dave Stereo shouting, telling us not to knock the prequels, but I think he's a little biased, being the Phantom Menace rumor.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier, the worst games are always the better speedruns. I think the next run's going to prove that as well.
Oh my goodness, Phantom Menace is an amazing speedrun. Like, as much as I will talk about this speedrun and how fantastic Force Unleashed 2 is, stick around for the Phantom Menace. It is so good. And Dave is a phenomenal runner, phenomenal commentator. Like, definitely stick around to watch that run.
We've lost all communication with that.
Yeah, Dave is pretty cool.
It appears this bounty hunter is a
So yeah, what you just saw Lifelike do there is there are these like little generators that we're going to be using to power up the doors. And the way, and an interesting thing that we can actually do with those generators is we can actually, when we're lifting them up using force grip, we can also zap them while they are in the air, allowing us to be able to move them without having to take that extra like split second to zap it. And so now here is an annoying instance. We have these terror droids, and they really like to get in the way. Lifelike used Dashing Blast to try and avoid getting nabbed by the first one, but he ended up getting nabbed by him anyways because sometimes the Terror Droids are just super committed, and they're really annoying to deal with in the speedrun. So if we have as many instances where we can avoid them, we are going to take it. But for some reason, the fights that are most required are the ones with Terror Droids. But thankfully, we have a really good way to abuse and cheese the fights to make the Terror Droids not as annoying as they actually are. But yeah, you can see a lot of the movement being demonstrated, and just like a lot of the level knowledge is going to be really huge for this. Oh yeah, and for some reason they're like, oh hey, the game is just sort of like, so this door is actually open, and then you hit the cutscene trigger and the game's like, nah, it's closed. There's a shield here. It doesn't matter. It's like the game is purposely trying to troll Starkiller from seeing his wife.
Yeah, so one thing happening right here is we're getting this little cutscene to introduce this enemy, and it's one of the most annoying enemies in the entire game. But one property of this game, I don't entirely understand whether it's that we're moving through the area too fast for the enemies to load, or if there's a cap on how many enemies can be loaded at one time. But because we got here really quickly, and I haven't really killed anything that wasn't absolutely required to progress, that enemy that introduced is just not here.
Yeah, and that's going to happen a lot, where there will be these cutscenes for specific enemies to show up, and then they just won't. And it can be really useful. It's really useful in certain areas, but it's also really annoying in other areas, just because we have required fights, but then the enemies just aren't there, and we have to take the time to reload the checkpoint.
And sometimes it's hilarious, because I had at least one instance where it was the final boss who just didn't spawn in the fight.
Oh, yep, that's happened before, where Vader will just decide, yeah, we don't actually want to spawn, we don't really care.
I'm doing a dashing blast in the air right there, instead of continuing my usual dashing, because if you're in the air when that little explosion happens, you don't get staggered. If you're on the ground when it happens, you just kind of ragdoll all over the ground, and then you can't move very quickly.
And so here is just going to be a little bit of platforming. Again, there's no major skip here, but he's just going to speed it up by using Dashing Blast rather than opening that door and going around with the generator. Just by using Dashing Blast, he's able to just make it go by a lot faster. And then coming up here, we've got all these engine room skips. These are a lot of really small skips that happen in the run by abusing the fact that through jumping in the middle of those generators, we can then abuse our iframes to just go through. And then here, it just requires spamming, because trying to actually time it out, you would have to be a TAS in order to do that. But you can slip through the cracks there if you hit the cycle properly on the spin. And then here, we can just kind of squeeze through and go around, because there actually is a shield there, despite the fact that it doesn't look like there is one. And then here, because there's 4 of these generators, if we were to go in there and try and skip them, we would just bounce around between the shields until we inevitably die. So we still just wait those cycles out to be safe.
Right here is a little platforming trick, where you can get straight across that room after grabbing the holocron. Also, normally there's an entire fight that spawns in that room that you would have to clear before you can leave. But again, because enemies aren't really spawning right now, I can just leave the room anyway, because there aren't any enemies there.
Yep. And that platforming that he did there is actually a lot harder than it looks.
Yeah, it's really difficult to land on that little pipe where the holocron is, because it's very easy to fall off either the front or the back if you don't land right on top of it.
Yep.
Already done.
So we're going to be coming up into our next boss fight here, which is the best boss fight because it doesn't drag on for a while, and it actually has a lot of really creative ways that you can go about it. It's the least linear boss fight, in my opinion. And we're just going to be starting off. There's going to be this small cutscene, and then when we hit the checkpoint, he's going to reload the checkpoint because it skips that cutscene. For some reason, it skips this one, but like other cutscenes just don't do that, which makes no sense. But again, because Force Unleashed 2, it happens.
And so at the start of this fight, I've got to raise these 4 things. He just calls them pillars. But they activate this generator, which sends out like a magnetic pulse that destroys the boss's shields. I'm also moving in a specific way around this to try and manipulate where the boss is. Because I want it to turn around and come back at me from this side once I start moving this last one, so it'll be close to me once I get this last one raised. And of course, getting grabbed by the droid is a little annoying.
And the movement there is actually super precise, because if he doesn't move properly, then he can be like right in the boss's face when he's trying to lift that last pylon, and then the boss is like, no, we're gonna sit here and we're gonna whack you all the time before you actually can do anything, and it becomes just worse. And so here, Lifelike is gonna do 3 saber attacks, and then he's gonna use a lightning as part of his combo to infuse his lightsabers with lightning. It doesn't do any extra damage, but what it does is it extends the hitbox of the attack, allowing the enemy, making so that way the enemies that are off to the side and trying to interrupt the fight will actually be hit by his attack and will either die or be staggered, and it won't actually interrupt any more of the fight. And as you can see, the terror troopers here are just the worst. They're smacking all around to try and just prevent any sort of progression.
Alright, so the boss is really far away from me right now, which is not ideal.
I like how the voiceover comes over telling you to put the fuses back in place right as you finish doing it.
Yeah, Coda doesn't really actually give the best advice. The best advice he ever gives, though, is when it's Force Unleashed 1, he's telling you to pull down the Star Destroyer, and every single time you go to pull it, he just aggressively yells, "Pull it out of the sky!" And it's so funny.
Alright, so this second boss is just dead now. There's one tricky jump left in this level. We'll see if I can get it quickly. So its head is going to fall here on the ground. I'm going to try to jump off of it, even though physics really don't like that, because it's just an object that wants to move. And that takes care of that level. Normally at the end there, you're supposed to use grip to kind of pull the boss's body downwards so that it creates a platform you can jump on, but you can get just enough height jumping off of its head that falls off there to actually reach the exit.
It says the head moved off the side when you jumped off of it. Is that like you only get one try at it sort of trick?
Yeah, you pretty much only get one chance because it'll go flying if you do it wrong.
Yeah, it's got really funky physics. I know it took me until I got a 111 before I actually went for it.
I'm locking down the hangar bay. Take out those boarding ships.
So we've got these other enemies here with 2 sabers, and they're a real pain to deal with. So, you know, so what I'm doing to fight them is use this grip attack that kind of throws them. But it deals a lot of damage. So even if I don't actually kill them with it, they'll be close to dead. And then now the next part of the fight's actually coming in, and this is on a timer for this part to come in, and then once this part's dealt with, another dropship's going to come in. Right. So that was a good start to this fight. I got a fully charged saber throw onto the smaller droid, and fully charged saber throw onto one of those will kill it in one hit.
And that's another benefit we get from upgrading our saber throw that we did early on in the run.
So I'm trying to position myself just right here. It's a pretty short window to get it, but we're in a pretty good spot. There's going to be 3 snipers that spawn up on this platform. And also they're immune to damage if they're trying to hit me with a melee attack, so that's why the Repulse just left 2 of them alive right in front of me. And apparently left another one alive on top anyway.
Yeah, sometimes the snipers just decide they just don't want to die. It doesn't really make sense. But there's not really much you can do there's not really much you can do in those instances. And as frustrating as it might seem, it doesn't happen as often. At least I don't have it happen as often. I might be different, but...
You need to remove those boarding ships from the hangar doors.
So we're just gonna jump up. You're supposed to like force grip though. The game wants you to force grip those, but it just breaks the moment you use any. It's just like, oh, you use a force power, so yeah, it's fine. It'll just be gone.
Yeah, one hit of any force power will do it. I'm partially using lightning myself.
We have Imperial troops in the
Yeah, I use lightning as well. It just, I think it connects faster than the other force powers.
So now I get a bunch more of these engine room skips. So that first one went very well. This one, not so much. These are also a little bit risky to go for because, you know, I take damage every single time I hit one of them. So if you get particularly unlucky, you can die to attempting those skips.
And that would also be why he goes into the middle of those generators, in between the two of them. That helps to keep him lined up as close, keep him in a way so that way when he recovers from that and has his iframes, he can just go right through. But as you can see, our health is getting really low. But again, because we're playing on easy, we regenerate health a lot better. I don't want to say like faster or anything, but it's sort of, it's like you have this sort of window of gray health where the game is like, no, it's fine. You don't actually need to take that much damage. And so here we're going to use our Force Rage again, and by using Repulse, we can sit here and just spam it and kill all the enemies. Kill enough of the enemies before they all spawn. And so even though there's a sniper there trying to kill us, the game is like, nah, you killed everything. We can just let you go. Because you just killed everything so quickly. And I think that with Force Repulse, when you're in your Force Rage mode, there's significantly less, there's a significantly extended range. It's not like a perfect range, but it's extended a lot more. So that way it just makes that go a lot easier.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, because of the way the run goes, and we're leaving a lot of enemies alive and moving through areas a lot faster than we're supposed to, enemies will not be spawning. Like, there's supposed to be a big droid right here fighting us, but it's just not there. But that room where I was using Rage is one of the few examples where you're supposed to clear the entire room before you can progress. But even if not all of the enemies spawn, it'll still recognize you as having killed everything if you manage to kill everything that's actually spawned in quick enough. Like, you'll get a break in where the next thing hasn't quite spawned, but the game thinks, oh, the room's empty, so you did it, and lets you leave.
And then here, he just uses Force Push to push the generator. He makes it go by slightly faster, and we can move while using Force Push rather than standing still when we use Force Grip.
Yeah, that and those little fuses are the only item in the game that has this weird property where Grip can't actually throw them. I have no idea why, but if we could actually throw them, then that would be the faster way to do it. But since we can't, it ends up being faster to just use Push instead. This one, though, is close enough to where it needs to go that we'll just use Grip the whole way. And then this room right here would normally have a big fight that's a huge pain, takes forever. But, again, because those enemies just aren't spawned in yet, you don't have to deal with it.
Another thing that helps with pushing the generators is Lifelike locks on to the generator, because otherwise it would Starkiller would just use Force Push to whatever was closer. And it just helps the generator to move a lot easier. And so here he hits a checkpoint. He's reloading it early because we already know that the enemies in the next room that are required to be killed are not going to spawn. So we reload the checkpoint quickly and now we just already have the enemies there, rather than going there, realizing they're not there, because we just anticipate they're not going to be there anyways, because they're never there.
So once all of these jetpack guys actually die... Oh, did I miss someone? Good.
There's always one.
Yeah, so normally if you've cleared this run kind of the optimal way, the last thing you'll be waiting for is those jetpack guys, because you hit them with lightning, which causes them to just kind of zip all around the room through the air, completely out of control until the jetpack explodes and they die. So you get to the end of the fight, and then it's just you're standing there waiting while these guys zip around until one of them eventually finally dies, and then you automatically hit the end of the fight.
I don't care if you have to fire that thing by hand.
Another instance there of he's telling me what to do after I've already done it.
Great shot. Now get up here.
The apprentice has become smarter than the master.
So we're almost at the end of this level. The only thing left here is another little auto-scroller. On this train. But at least it's a fast one.
Yeah, and this one there's going to be the terror, like I said, there's a terror droid spawning and a required fight. And the nice part about them is they have very little health, but there's a lot of them. So we're just gonna sit here and spam force revolts, because that will just instantly kill a lot of them. There are a couple of ways that I've seen different people do it. Some people will do it via like charging it, because you get a more extended repulse. Other people, like Lifelike, is just gonna sit here and spam it. I think actually now seeing you do that, spamming it is faster. Oh, nice little swag. Jump over.
Okay, so now that we're out of that auto-scroller, we get to do an auto-scroller. Difference on this one being that this is another one where it's full of QuickTime events that require mashing. So we can actually speed it up a little bit by mashing really fast. It was one person has actually timed this to see just how much of a difference mashing really fast makes, and I think it's almost 10 seconds.
Oh wow.
Yeah, now we're still on the same ship we've been on for a while, but now it's crashing into Camino, which is the same planet we started on. It's kind of another one of my little complaints about this game is, you know, we just end up right back where we started. As far as the story is concerned, we're coming back here because, you know, after we escaped, Vader got upset, sent Boba Fett out. Boba Fett captured Juno and brought her back here, so now we're going back here to rescue her. And that's kind of the whole story.
Yep. And, you know, we're here to rescue her. Coda and the Rebel Alliance tagged along because they actually, you know, want to save the galaxy from the Empire, and so they're trying to destroy this clone facility and take it over before Vader can make his own army of Force clones. But yeah, we're only here for Juno. We're like, this is all, like, in Starkiller's mind, is all about the waifu. He just sacrifices everything, which kind of ruins the point of No Sim September right now, but it's fine.
Get out of there.
Alright, so now we get another falling section, but unlike the other ones, spamming dash in this one does not make it any faster. So, I'm just gonna fall.
Does it even slow it down if you get hit or no?
No. This one, I think, is entirely tied to the ship moving. This is sort of a nice little breather in the run where I get to sit back, not do a whole lot, But immediately after this quiet section is a skip that requires me to move extremely quickly in order to get it at all. So we're going to end up in an arena with debris all over it, and some of that debris is going to be a couple of big metal sheets blocking the door that leaves. Now, I'm supposed to grip those doors and then mash A really fast to move those doors out of the way. And normally during the fight in that room you can't do it because something will stop you. That something usually being one of the two big turrets in the room. But right when we get into the room, they haven't targeted yet. So, if I can get there quick enough and move it quick enough, we'll get it out of the way before those turrets can actually begin to fire at me, and so we'll skip the fight entirely.
I hope this is worth it. We've committed everything.
Alright, so there's the debris I need to move.
Worth it, General. This is bigger than you and Juno, boy. We're fighting a war.
There we go. And you can see how little time you have there, because the turrets hit me as soon as the quick time event was completed.
Yeah, and not getting that that specific mashing, if you don't get that, you can reload the checkpoint, but it is extremely precise, and if you just aren't able to mash it, you lose a lot of time because you have to go around and destroy the turrets and then move the debris, and because of the enemies all stacking, you just have to destroy the enemies in order to go anyways. So now we have our last damage boosting trick, and I'm going to just talk for it so my life I can focus, because it can be really, really difficult.
This is one of the biggest skips in the entire run.
Yep, and oh, that lightsaber almost got him. But what he's going to do is he's going to do a double damage boost, which is then going to send him all the way over here, making it, putting him out of bounds. And eventually we want to come here anyways, but what it does is it skips him having to go, and I think he's trying to show us where.
I was just going to point out since I'm here, I was in that room over there. So normally you have to clear that room, then get through that hallway, then clear that room, that hallway, then that room, and then the next hallway, and then the next room, and then there's a puzzle. But instead of doing all of that, the developers were nice enough to put collision through this entire side of the area. So that last bridge there would be the puzzle, but instead of doing that, go over here, jump in this window, and as soon as I touch this elevator, I'm in the next area.
And that saves, I think, like, almost, like, 5 minutes, if not more. Because we don't end up doing that skip in all holocrons, because there's one holocron in those series of hallways. And as of right now, I haven't labbed it, but I should figure out to see if I can lab a way to skip it. But it is a ridiculous amount of time that you have to spend in combat there than you do in any other part of the room.
Alright, so now we're coming up on another room with a bunch of terror droids that have to be killed so that you can progress. But again, I'm going to reload the checkpoint to make sure that they do actually all spawn the way that they're supposed to. And of course, there's also this droid, which is kind of a pain to deal with, but we'll see what I can do. Also, my fury meter is not full right now, partially because I reloaded the checkpoint. You can see my repulse is not quite reaching the corners of the room. At least normal repulse isn't. So ideally my rage meter would be full right now, and I could use that to clear this room, and it would be a lot faster. I didn't even hit one. Where are they?
Sometimes the terror droids just kind of sit in the corners, and they just don't go where they're supposed to.
And of course, the meter filled up right as I killed the last one.
I know how you feel her, but she's just one officer. We're going to lose the entire rebellion if you don't help.
So coming up are two of my least favorite rooms in the entire run. It's a lot of very tricky platforming.
This is easily the place where, like, there are a lot of heavy reset points, but this is also a spot where just runs can go to die, because the platforming is extremely tricky, and when sometimes the game still just drops your inputs, it's just really frustrating. I know, I've had a couple of runs that I thought were on world record pace, end up dying because of this platforming.
What are you talking about?
It just becomes a huge, sad moment.
We're on our way.
This is extremely
Also, these
tricky
enemies are
to
right
get.
here. There's a bunch of enemies spawning into this room that are going to try and stop me from opening the door, but if I can get it quick enough and get out before it closes, hit that checkpoint.
Nothing if we have to say about it.
Shoutouts to that guy for attacking me into the checkpoint.
That was so nice, because again, enemies can just decide I don't know why the game does this, where if you don't go through it fast enough, the door will shut, and then you're just left sad because you have to do the exact same thing that you've done before. And it's just not good at all. And again, runs can die just by having those enemies keep you from opening the door.
I can't wait any longer,
A tricky jump right there off of that little glass tube you're not really supposed to be able to stand on.
There's no time. I'm sorry. Know that I
Okay, so those rooms actually went really well. Two of the most stressful rooms in the run. And now we get sort of our
don't go in there
haunted
alone.
force cave
Lord is waiting.
vision walk sort of area here.
We're losing your
If it seems like the camera's doing weird things, that's because it is, and I have no control over it.
Juno! Juno! Where is he?
Yeah, he's having all these... Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, he's just having all these force visions, and then it's just gonna turn into these small quick time events where he's gonna hold the direction and mash X, and then you're gonna get a little flash where there was supposed to be a cutscene with sort of like a little background of like, this is what sort of like the inner demon that Starkiller is facing at this point, but then he doesn't actually get to face it because we removed the cutscene, so he just gets to sit there and look like he's just having a really bad headache.
You're Vader's puppet. Just a body filled with the memories of a dead man.
Speak! What have you done to her?
It's kind of one of the weird side effects of removing the cutscenes, because those also include little video files. Like every time you hear that kind of bell sound and the screen blinks white, there'd normally be this little flashback moment. It's only a couple of seconds long, but sometimes images from the first game or something that they've added for this game, just showing like a memory or some important moment in Starkiller's life.
Me, you coward!
You can see we're going through this cloning facility, and cloning's sort of a big theme of this game, and you can see these guys in the tubes. They look a little bit like Starkiller, and that's going to be important in just a little bit here.
Yeah, and if the prequels, didn't deal with cloning enough, they just decided we're gonna slap one more thing of cloning on here, and then we will be all good.
So here's just kind of showing us the whole scale of this cloning facility. And with my wonderful graphics options, you can see more parts of it just kind of appear out of nowhere.
Clearly those are just hallucinations manifesting, right?
Yeah. Right.
I knew it was only a
And so
matter
yeah,
of
like the
time
cloning
before
process
it
in
was
this is not really good.
Now you
So
must surrender
what
to
we've got is, rather than like
here.
actual solid Starkiller clones, they're more of like Starkiller zombies. they are very, like, they don't speak. They just sort of make inaudible noises and growlings. But there are two kinds of them. Some of them use lightsabers. One kind uses 2 lightsabers, another kind uses all Force. This is just kind of been the theme of the Force-based enemies in this game. And the trick to fighting Vader in this is by using Mind Trick to trick the zombies into attacking Vader, and then while Vader is distracted fighting the zombies, you can then go and fight and do a lot of damage on Vader. Yes!
Alright, so some people might have noticed I grabbed 1 extra holocron earlier in the run that's not normally part of the any percent run. But that happens to be a Guybrush Threepwood costume, because it's really funny to see some of the ending scenes with this costume.
Oh no.
I totally forgot you did this. But this is the best costume in the entire game, especially when you get into these end cutscenes where it's just so much passion in Starkiller's voice that is just gone because of this derpy costume.
Yeah, like we mentioned a little bit ago, one of the main tricks to this fight that I'm using further on is that I leveled up Mind Trick right before we got here. So it now hits 2 targets at once instead of 1. So I'm using that on the clones, so that the clones will also be fighting against Vader, which hopefully they will provide a distraction, which lets me get damage through.
And there's a chance too that while Lifelike is attacking Vader, that that this lightsaber lock will initiate. And it really sucks when those happen because they waste about 15 to 20 seconds per saber lock.
I will break you.
So, you know, there's that section earlier with Vader throwing his tubes at us and we had to throw them back. This is supposed to be another one, but you can just make the jump there and skip it.
Kill him.
Another way to get a little extra damage. Well, that didn't work. I was gonna say, you can throw those other tubes at him to get a little extra damage through early on. This game has sort of a weird auto-target system that it uses where it targets... Like, it tries to target for you and it prioritizes whatever is kind of closest in front of where your character is facing, and that's not always dependent on where your camera is facing.
1,000 times.
So sometimes you'll throw an object and you'll think you know where it's going to go, but then it goes somewhere else entirely.
Another thing you can do is use lightning blasts to make Vader block the lightning, and then it allows you to hit it. What?
One of the clones pushed me off the platform during the cutscene.
Wow.
Wow.
That's amazing.
So that's a thing that can happen.
I can say that I've never seen that happen before.
Oh, I've seen it happen before.
How many
It's worse
phases are
if
there
you
to this?
manage to push Vader off of the platform, because that just hardlocks the game.
So how many phases are there to this fight? It seems like a lot.
So all of this part is essentially one phase until this health bar is almost empty. And then there'll be one more real phase after that.
Yeah, it just drags on for so long because I don't know why. They just wanted you to feel like you had a really long and grueling fight. But the fight itself isn't hard. There aren't big risks of dying. It's just it's not a big risk of dying. You just feel like you're fighting forever.
I'm assuming fights like this are a big part of why you play on easy, because I assume this just becomes even more of a slog on higher difficulties.
Yeah, and it doesn't. the strats wouldn't change if you were playing on any of the other difficulties. The EXP doesn't change. The difference is just enemies just don't die as fast, and they do more damage. And so trying, like, because we've had people ask us why we don't split by difficulty. That's because for the majority of it, the strats don't change. And since the strats don't change, it's really not worth making the split. It's like, if you really want to run on the other difficulty, go for it. But that just makes it slower for no real gain other than saying you can do it on a harder difficulty.
Oh my god, what?
Enjoy this wonderful cutscene with this amazing costume.
That zoom in on his face was... I was not prepared.
It gets better. Yeah, that's the end of the first phase. We get this cutscene, and then we go into the second phase, which will be the last bit right before we reach the end of the run.
Where is she?
I can never, ever get used to this. It's so good.
Before me, or she dies.
Wait!
So yeah, definitely gonna be that guy who says run our speed game. It's honestly, a lot of this game is broken, but it's a lot easier to get into than you would think. Lifelike made an amazing tutorial for it that covers a lot of the mechanics. The only thing that I know there aren't any specific tutorials for is some of the newer skips. But the newer skips I was able to learn just by watching the videos of how they were done. And so I definitely recommend getting into this game. It's super easy to get into. It's a great speed game. And yeah, it's gimmicky, and it's just overall, it's a blast to run.
Yeah, that's one of those things. A lot of the tricks in this run are based around the same sort of mechanics. So once you get a hang of the usual mechanics and, you know, the damage boosting and things like that, and, you know, the dashing movement, pretty much any new trick is fairly easy to pick up. Alright, so final boss fight. So a little bit of a strategy for this, which I already sort of messed up, but hopefully it'll be fine. No, it's not quite working. So I'm trying to push him back towards one of these pillars because normally we would get a quick time event, and that quick time event will drain like half of his health all at once if we get it. But if he stands over by the edge of the arena like that, that lightning will stop us from continuing to fight him. It'll deal damage to him too, but... it still doesn't really work out the way you want it to.
Yeah. The quick time events, I think, are supposed to be random. There we go. There we got one.
She means nothing.
And so the normal strategy is you'd push him towards the pillar and like immediately get a quick time event, and then, you know, you'd bait out a couple of attacks and then do it again, and that would be the whole fight. But that didn't really work out yet. At least the first half of it didn't work out, so we'll just do it this way.
So be it.
Let me get this,
and it just demolishes his health.
Don't you want to know where you came from?
So ideally we would just want that quick time event 2 times in a row, and that would be the whole fight. Instead of that, we're just killing him with damage, so that's fine. For missing the strat, that really wasn't that bad.
And now we've got the last quick time event in the game, which this is also the only one where holding right trigger is actually important.
Yep. Come on, Guybrush, you can do it.
Yeah, Guybrush!
Alright, so now we're on to the very last quick time event of the game. But, for this last one, the button prompt is a lie. It's going to tell me I have to mash Y to keep blasting Vader with lightning, but as it turns out, you don't have to press anything at all, it'll just continue.
It's because of the power of Guybrush.
Yeah, I'm looking at this character model. I'm just losing it.
So I remember even my casual playthrough getting this part thinking, man, my thumb is starting to hurt from how much it wants me to press Y, and it wants me to still keep pressing Y, and it's ridiculous, but as it turns out, you don't have to. We got one little in-engine cutscene left, and then after that is when we'll call time.
And this cutscene is amazing with this model.
Are not real.
They are real to me! Wait!
That face.
You want that as much as I do? Yes, but not yet. Not
Well,
until
the
you told us the Empire's
other character is just not acting like anything's out of the ordinary.
He just looks so sad. I don't know why they made Guybrush look so sad.
can interrogate him. Put him on trial for crimes against the true Republic. And then
I just want to give him a hug.
show the galaxy that we don't need to fear him any longer. If I let him live, he'll hunt me forever. He is the only one who knows if Starkiller really survived. He can't tell you he's dead.
Alright, so here's the big moral choice of the game. Do you want the light side ending or the dark side ending?
Write me down.
Anyway, so time comes up when I hit these buttons, so time.
Yeah,
And unfortunately, because the cutscenes are deleted, we don't get to see the ending. It just goes straight to the credits.
Which one did you press?
I hit the light side ending.
Oh no, you're making chat so sad. They all wanted the dark side ending. What have you done?
It's okay, they'll never know if I'm lying or not.
It's true.
Actually, no, the music is different. The music is different. I learned
Yeah,
that.
that I didn't know.
Yeah, the music is different based on what ending you pick when the credits play.
Anyway, that was the run for Star Wars The Force Unleashed 2. It's a pretty fun run, and there's a lot of interesting stuff to it, so if anybody's interested in checking that out, we do have a Discord server, and yeah, come and join us.
Run our speed game.
Do you have any shoutouts before we wrap things up?
And just the community in general. And I was sort of the first one to start really running this game back in 2015. It's a fairly small community, but in particular, I do want to shout out a YouTuber by the name of Findlestick. He put in a lot of work and found pretty much all of the glitches that we use in this run, and the run wouldn't be what it is without him.
Sounds good. Thank you very much for coming on and doing the run, and Zojalix for helping out with commentary. It was a lot of fun to watch. We've got 2 more runs for you all tonight. We've got Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, which if you've never seen that speedrun before, it's a treat. And it's being run by Dave Stereo, who's a really cool person. It's going to be a lot of fun. And coming up after that, to end off the night, we're going to have Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2. So stick around. We're going to take a quick break, play a few ads. If you are subscribed, you won't catch the ads, and of course, subscriptions and bits help fund these hotfix shows, so we appreciate it if you would consider subscribing, especially if you have that Amazon Prime Prime Gaming lying around ready. You can throw that in there, you won't catch the ads, but we'll be back in just a few minutes with Episode 1. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Community Spotlight. We are here with Dave Stereo, who's going to be doing Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. If you've never seen this speedrun before, sit back, grab something, get comfy. It's a treat. It is a lot of fun if you've never seen this game before. And of course, as the runner said before, Dave is going to be a lot of fun doing this for you all as well. So Before we get started, just as a quick reminder, this show is normally about showcasing specific communities or specific games, and if you have a game you think deserves the spotlight, you can type !spotlight in chat, and there's a form you can fill out. We do use that a lot for choosing what games to show. Most of our content has been pulled from that form, and you can also go to gamesdonequick.com/spotlight/hotfix. Let me try that again. gamesdonequick.com/hotfix/spotlight-form. There we go. Second try. Nailed it. And of course, if you are a woman involved in speedrunning, Frame Fatales submissions are open right now. You can go to gamesdonequick.com/framefatales for more information on that. For the Fleet Fatales event that's going to be running in November. And after submissions end, there'll be information on volunteering or getting involved in other ways if you want to try and do that. But Dave, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty dang good. How about yourself, man?
I'm doing pretty well. Fixing a typo in the layout because I'm good at typing. But besides that, I'm doing fantastic. I'm having a lot of fun. One of the fun things about this particular show is Dave is right over there. He's the room next to me. Yeah, Dave is pointing in my direction right now. So one of the fun things is I might have a few spoilers when I hear Dave reacting loudly to something before it comes through on the stream.
If you hear me scream, yeah, you'll get it early. Yeah.
So for people who haven't seen this lovely gem of a speedrun before, what introduction would you give to it?
The Phantom Menace is a beautiful train wreck of a video game and a speedrun. It has no right being as good of a speedrun as it is. Like, from the moment we start to the moment we finish, constant sequence breaks, constant speed tech, constant memes. Also, to add to the memeage, we will be playing with the voice acting on because you guys need to hear these voices. Typically in the speedrun, you would have voices turned off. It allows you to accelerate dialogue a lot faster. But where's the fun in that, you know? You guys got to hear Jar Jar Binks. I know you guys are all waiting for that. I guess to just talk about movement, it's a tank control game, so Obi-Wan can really only move forward, and you need to, like, turn in order to move forward. Incredibly clunky movement, but we make the most of it. But alright, I think with that, we're probably ready to go, right?
Yeah, I'm good when you are.
Alright, so I'll give you a countdown. In 3, 2, 1, go. And Obi-Wan pretty much summarizes this run here with the very first voice line.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Yeah, me too.
Your feelings serve you well, Obi-Wan. But don't let them cloud your judgment.
Alright guys, deep breaths. This is going to be a wild ride. Also, this game, the audio engine can self-destruct at any time, and the textures of the game can deload at any time. Hopefully we will hear, or hopefully we won't hear any beeps, or maybe the fans want to hear it. Qui-Gon tells us to prepare for the unexpected. Well, he's not going to expect this. So normally you'd think we would go through this door and proceed through the level, but we're actually literally just going to backflip into the ceiling. Yeah, the room's filling with poison gas, so you should probably get out of there.
We must escape.
And this run is going to be filled with safety saves because it is quite possibly the most finicky video game ever made. I'm going to fall to the very end of the level here with a precise fall. Ah, first try, man. All right. I made that look a lot easier than it is. This game also has an amazing feature where running into walls makes you go faster. Why, I don't know. And hopefully I don't die here. We're going to be skipping some button puzzles by just clipping down into the elevator like that. That was very nice and clean. We utilize some more wall boosting here.
Yeah, people in chat are curious about the voice acting. We're not at the fantastic part yet. Don't worry. We'll let you hear the part that you need to hear.
Yeah, okay. So, like, all the voice acting in this game is great, but there's one level that is notorious for the most memes in the game. Yes, we will point that out when we get there.
And of course that gem there where since we sequence broke, Obi-Wan is reminding us that the room is filling with poison gas.
Yeah, I mean, hey, he should get out of there. He should probably get out of there. It seems like a good idea. But alright, there's our boy. Jar Jar. Alright, Swamps and Naboo. Like I said, this game is filled with constant sequence breaks and whatnot. This level is actually there are sequence breaks in every single level. And yeah, you guys are in for a treat today. Hope everybody's been enjoying the Star Wars community hotfix today. We had that was Dark Forces, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dark Forces and Force Unleashed 2. Hope you guys both enjoyed both those. We're gonna skip our first meeting with Jar Jar here by going into this tree. And there's a million places here where I can fall out of bounds and void out, so this is precise. Alright, we're in there. Now we just gotta not fall off the map. Okay. Also, trees are suggestions. But do not fret.
Hello, Daddy!
Even though we skipped Jar Jar, he's still here.
This way. Missa run to safe place.
Be utilizing some more wall boosting here to go a little bit faster. Nice, I skipped having to swim there with a nice jump.
Jump to the top.
You see that I just did a ledge grab there?
Watch out for
The ledge grab
mechanicks.
mechanics in this game are so finicky, and I'd say like 90% of the time they don't work. So I'm going to be taking a safety save coming up here because we're going to be doing a second Jar Jar skip. And hopefully I don't get robbed of my ledge grabs. So yeah, let's take that save right about now. All right, so I'm going to avoid a conversation here with Jar Jar by just landing on this rock next to him. Or I will...
Can you take me to Qui-Gon?
Or, okay.
It looks like, can you show me where
we will
he is?
slide off the rock and talk to Jar Jar. Everybody say hi to Jar Jar.
You just wanted the bonus content, Dave.
Actually, yeah, because of that droid... Yeah, you know, I had to give you guys the bonus content. So because I landed on that rock, there was a droid that spawned and then shot me out of the air and pushed me back. So we're just gonna run that back. There we go. All right, so hopefully now I don't fall. All right, we actually got a ledge grab. Oh, we got the double ledge grab. Thank you. Okay. Game's being nice to me today. But all right, this game has an amazing feature where pausing the game generates lag. So I'm going to use that to lag clip out of bounds here. We get a precise lineup. Pause the game. Backflip. Let's try that one more time. Come on, game. I need more lag. Try that one more time. All right, so now we're out of bounds, and now we're at the end of the level. Got a nice little combat section here. Okay, and I'm sure to throw all of my Gungan energy orbs here, because if I have any throwable items in the 5th level, I will not actually have, or I will get a an extra grenade spawn, and I'll have 5 flash grenades to work with later. Alright. So now I have to wait here for Jar Jar to reach a certain point, because since we sequence broke the level, all of the triggers are kind of out of whack. So we need to wait till Jar Jar gets to a certain point and then backtrack so that Qui-Gon spawns in at the end of the level. You can tell I got the trigger because the bird yelled at me. Droid spawned in, and that is level 2.
Obi-Wan, over. I see you've met Jar Jar. You need to find safe haven until these droids pass by.
The Moto Grande safe place would be Autoganga. 'Tis where I grew up. 'Tis a safe city.
But yeah, this game is a childhood classic for me, and
it's embarrassing.
It's amazing that it just happens to be such a good speed run. I was pleasantly surprised.
Terrible things if me going back
Yeah, this game's held together with popsicle sticks and glue, but somehow it just works.
Yeah, like you guys may have seen on the main menu, there is a thing called music video, where if you try to watch that video, it actually kind of crashes the game. Like it freezes and just stops working. It's pretty good. But yeah, like I said, the audio engine in this game can self-destruct at any time, and you just hear these really loud beeping noises. Luckily, Railcoon is ready on the audio if that happens.
Yep.
So we're not gonna blast your ears, but all right, level 3, Otogunga. This is normally just a puzzling and platforming level. If you initiate combat, it will generally game over you, or you enter a softlock state where you can't finish the level. We're gonna kind of dance around that though. So there's a guard here at the end where if I force push him, he will spawn a door. I'm gonna do this as late as possible so that I can get on the other end of this door before it spawns, and then look inwards towards the city to generate enough lag so that when I jump, I can clip through the floor. Oh, we get this audio glitch. Jar Jar won't shut up for a bit. Also, this guy's unlimited health for no reason. So yeah, we just skipped a whole meeting with Boss Nass, and then some additional elevator rides.
So yeah, at this point, you're not supposed to be able to complete the level, right?
Well, generally, but because of the way you sequence break and stuff, I don't think the game knows how to operate. Or it's very weird because if you were to like kill a Gungan, then they throw a bunch of thermal detonators at you. But like, I force push that dude and then skip the meeting with Boss Nass, and like, I think the way the triggers update, it just like kind of forgets, but the enemies will still aggro to me. So I'm in a weird state where, yeah, the enemies aggro to me, but I can still complete the level.
Yeah.
So, also I force push these guys here. Oh, I guess he's
Jar Jar Binks brought me here.
I guess he was talking to me even though I force pushed him. Yeah, you get stopped in a conversation if you walk up to those guys, but I kind of force pushed them away. We're gonna be avoiding another conversation up here because you normally have to talk to a guy up here to open the next door. He's gonna talk to my lightsaber. And the door opened. So much how we generated lag to clip through the floor before, we're gonna do that again here. Normally you have to push this box into each corner of the room very slowly in order to reveal a switch here on the floor. Oh, I got that. Wow, you never get that first try. Okay, yeah, so I was jumping up and down to load and unload things deep within the map in the background to generate enough lag so that I could clip through the floor. Also, when I said ledge grabs were finicky, this is one of the prime examples. Hopefully I can get this. Oh, or I could just miss the jump. Yeah, the platforming in this game is impeccable, by the way. Alright, we actually got the ledge grab. I'm gonna force push this guy, which starts the elevator for some reason, instead of talking to him. Alright, there's also a rare chance that Jar Jar doesn't spawn here at the end of the level, and we kind of need him to spawn, so I really hope he spawns, but sometimes he just doesn't. That happens with a few NPCs in this game, and they are crucial NPCs, so let's hope he does. Hey, it's Jar Jar.
Boss Nass will provide us with a bongo which we will use to reach Theed and warn the Naboo. You must help us navigate. Let's get going.
This way to the bongo.
Alright, let's go to the bongo.
Who's gonna join Jar Jar in that cell?
I love how the voice lines persist even though they're dead.
This way to the bongo.
Alright, so we just need Jar Jar to open a door for us at the end of the level. You can actually skip grabbing Jar Jar.
Squeeze
Oh,
me.
wow, I've never had the enemies block me that much there. Yeah, so you can actually skip getting Jar Jar, but it requires a clip into this room over here, which is very finicky, and just to keep the marathon going, we're just gonna get Jar Jar.
Oh, boy.
Everybody's a fan of Jar Jar, so you can never get enough.
I mean, we gotta show off the voice acting, right?
Hurry.
Yeah, right? That's why we play with voices on. But alright, so this next level is one of the longer ones casually, but it happens to be one of the shortest in the speedrun. Because luckily for us, the end of the level is right past this bridge that gets blown up. But there's a stone pillar that is gonna be in the rubble
Must warn the
that
Queen of
normally
the Trade Federation's
crumbles
attack.
when you walk forward.
Beyond this bridge
But
is the
I'm
city
gonna
of
navigate
Theed and the
around
Queen's
a
palace.
bunch of invisible
Follow me,
triggers
everyone.
here in order to keep this stone pillar standing and use it to get to the end of the level. So you can see that stone pillar that's right there. Alright, we gotta get this pot shot. Alright, very nice. And now I'm gonna save the game because it's another very finicky part of the run. So let's see if I can jump around these triggers properly. Alright, so the stone pillar's still standing. You can kind of just walk into it and jump. This jump is incredibly difficult, by the way. Yeah, so the collision at the end of that stone pillar, you see geometry there, but the collision ends earlier than it appears. So you gotta time a very late double jump and hope to God you make it. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to jump as late as possible here. Let's see if we can get it on this third try. And if you've ever played this game, anyone can tell you how clunky this platforming is. And also what you can do is you can wiggle yourself in midair to get more distance. So that's also what I'm trying to do. Alright, come on. Come on, come on, come on, chat. I need your energy. Just gonna wait for a shot. Oh yeah, that wasn't late enough. Alright, chat, I really need your energy on this one. We can get it. We can get it.
So we need either give please or lamps in chat, I think.
Oh, give me all the lamps. I was gonna say that wasn't early enough. I am messing this up, but it's all right. See, this is what happens when it looks like... Yeah, that's what happens with the stone pillar if you miss the triggers. But yeah, jumping in this game is incredibly finicky. Oh, I love the lamps, guys. Let's keep it up.
The power of a lamp.
All right, this is it. This is it right here. Oh my... Jeez Louise. Alright. I didn't think I'd get walled on this. But you know what? Anything happens in this run. Anything and everything. Alright, so now I'm gonna line up on this block very particularly so that we can ride the debris up, because when that block gets destroyed by the tank, the debris flies up at a consistent angle, so I can use the debris to skip opening up those final two gates. Yo, thanks for the lamps, everyone. That was amazing.
The Trade Federation has taken complete control of Theed. We must escort the Queen to safety.
So after doing such an awesome level, we are given a monotonous level. This is a giant escort mission with the Queen.
We have been sent by the Jedi Council.
The Queen likes to stop moving for no reason. She also likes to get caught on a bunch of corners. And if you move too far away from the Queen, the game will instantly kill her. So a lot of this level is going to be us dancing around the Queen and getting her to move in certain ways.
And convince the Senate to aid us.
Then we must travel to Coruscant. Unfortunately, our
And
ship was destroyed.
this is also where the Jedi kind of forget that they can use the Force.
We need to reach the Queen's ship.
I don't know, maybe I don't know something about the Star Wars lore here, but I feel like they should be able to move these stones with the Force.
Which ones?
Right there. Shouldn't they be able to move that?
Yeah.
We're cut off.
Video
Take the Queen
games.
and find another route. We'll meet at the hangar.
Alright, so...
This
is the Queen. Better not step on her dress. She'll yell at you. She actually does, and she stops moving.
There is a secret path through the side garden.
Yeah, this is also the movie where, like, Qui-Gon cuts through a door with his lightsaber.
Yeah.
Don't worry about me.
Yep.
I'll keep up.
Yep. Alright, so if you guys are familiar with the Ocarina of Time speedrun, you know the Infinite Sword glitch, or ISG. We have the Infinite Saber glitch that we get by interrupting a jump slash by falling off of a ledge. So yeah, that's what I just did there. I interrupted a jump slash and fell off the ledge, so now my sword lightsaber hitbox is infinitely active.
Has been blasted.
And you can just run into enemies and they explode. Also, here's the rocket launcher from the movie. We're gonna use that later. ISG can also destroy items, which normally your lightsaber can't hurt
Take
items.
whatever you can carry.
But ISG completely kills items and makes it so you can't pick them up.
I'll stay here while you look around.
Alright, so yeah, you just run into all the droids.
Follow me.
Theed is swarming with droids.
You're starting to learn why the voices are on, because any section with Queen Amidala is...
a meme.
Yeah.
It's the Phantom memes. Alright, this guy didn't die. Okay, now he dead. Alright, so normally you have to get around this tank and kill the droid that's working on it. Or you can just blast yourself in the face with a rocket launcher and it makes the tank move.
You must pass.
Gate is open. We must go now.
Alright, so here I'm gonna do a minor skip where normally you have to kill 2 of these window droids to get the queen to move forward. But if I don't move forward enough and I kill 1 of the window droids, the queen actually starts moving forward, so we skip the second window droid. Also, this is very crucial. I have to destroy all these droids here because this game's awesome and they can actually shoot the queen through the floor here.
Are you ready?
When she just waits in this room.
You might be able to use some of this equipment. Take whatever you can carry.
Alright, so now we need to destroy these 2 guys by standing in them. And the queen should come out on her own. Alright. Sometimes she just gets locked into that room.
I like that you have to activate a glitch for the lightsaber to act the way it should.
Yeah, right? Oh, shooting downwards in this game is a nightmare. Alright, hopefully this droid doesn't see me on this wire, because if I get shot, I instantly fall down. Nice try. You tried to get me. Okay, so now we've opened up this gate. Gonna wall boost into the queen.
Follow me.
Alright, so for some reason the queen would totally just run into these mines on her own. So I kind of need to do it for her. Gotta take one for the team. Normally you have to get a different angle here to lower this bridge with a force push on a lever, but you can also just do it right there. Also, Relicoon, is my camera froze?
Looks like it.
Looks
I
clear.
can fix that.
I think it's on my end. I can restart that. I totally just
Oh
noticed
yeah, it's
that.
on your end.
Alright, we can take the camera off for a second or whatever, but when I get a sec, I can fix that.
I don't have any appropriate meme pictures to pop over your webcam in the meantime. I'm sad.
I don't know where the queen went. I think the queen despawned. Oh, there she is.
When you are ready to continue, Jedi.
Okay. Oh, I need to make sure this guy's out of here.
Okay.
I'll wait here
I have improved the
until you're
frozen
safe to
webcam
proceed.
until
You
you fix
improved
it. Yes.
Alright.
Your insight serves you well. I must see her safely to the
Like I
hangar.
said, the Phantom memes
We would
is
greatly appreciate any
so
help you could
strong
provide.
that it even destroys my own
There are a few
webcam.
useful items in the next building. I'll unlock the door for you.
Alright, so send a force push out there. Get rid of those droids.
Let's go.
Bring the queen to us. There are a lot of droids in this part.
Help me!
Is she being shot? Okay, I think they shot her through a wall.
I'm not hurt. The laser blast just grazed my
Alright,
shoulder.
at least she's not hurt. Alright, I need to wait for droids to spawn here. For some reason, they've taken longer to spawn recently. Alright, there we go. Okay, and with that, we actually made it through the level.
What is your plan?
Let's try to reach your
with
ship.
minimal problems. This is honestly probably the most frustrating level in the speedrun, so I'm pretty stoked about that.
Yeah, and there's a fun glitch we can do on this level, but it crashes the game, sadly.
Yeah.
Now it is time to journey to Coruscant.
Actually, there's probably other glitches that I'll show at the end, but yeah, if we happen to have an abundance of time, you might see it. But all right, camera should be back. Oh my god, I loved your adjustment to that. Incredible. Actually, you know, we might just want to keep it. I don't know.
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
Can't have too much of a good thing, you know?
Yeah, you know. But all right, Mos Espa. This is where the game really shows its innovation, because the game kind of becomes an RPG. You start to have a lot of conversations. You go out, you do a bunch of quests. There's some cool fights you can have.
The hyperdrive is badly damaged.
I loved this level
We
as
must
a kid.
replace the
It
T14
felt so
hyperdrive
large and
generator.
open, and seemed like there were so many secrets packed within it. But yeah, we're actually going to be taking command of Qui-Gon Jinn here.
Very well, Master. But the Queen has ordered her handmaiden
Yeah,
Padme
this
to follow
part
you
of the
into
game is
town
so
as
good.
well.
The Queen
But
would like me to learn
right
more
out the
about this
gate
planet.
here, I kind of need to save the game.
along,
Because
then.
in this next encounter, if any of the enemies clip out of bounds and fall through the map, the game hard crashes. So we need to make sure that doesn't
Worry
happen.
about my safety.
We're also going to
I've been
get
trained in
Infinite Saber
self-defense.
Glitch with Qui-Gon
Let's go.
by literally running into this rock. I should also note that ISG has variants of how strong it is. Sometimes you can get a really weak ISG, and other times you can get a really strong one. I appear to have a really nice one here, so that's nice. Okay. And in order for Padme to spawn into the level, I need to make sure she's actually, like, kind of reaches a certain point. So that's why I was waiting there for her. We haven't really experienced any audio glitches yet. I'm pretty stoked about that. My ears are happy.
Yeah, if audio glitches happen, I can save the stream's ears, but Dave will have to listen to it.
Yes, at full volume.
Today only. Hurry.
Also, these voice lines.
Stop pushing me!
Alright, so normally you have to trade this guy for a pod racer part, but you can force push him and just kind of take it because it spawns for some reason. So this is another level where if you commit hostility on innocent people, the game will enter a soft lock state where it won't allow you to progress and everybody hates you. But you can force push that guy and it's alright for some reason.
Did you learn?
Several locals have.
Thank you.
So now we're tasked with finding Anakin and then eventually rebuilding his pod racer. I'm opening a door there for a better route later on in the level. Also gotta avoid the kids here because they will pull you into a dialogue sequence. Alright, so Anakin's mom here. Normally you would have a nice conversation with her. I mean, she's really nice, but you can also just wall boost and kind of slip past her. This is the boy.
You must be Anakin. I've heard much about you.
You're a Jedi.
What are you building? Can you help me find Watto?
Follow me. We'll head through the junkyard.
All right,
It's
thing about
faster.
the junkyard is if I go too fast, it'll soft lock the game.
Follow
So I need to
on.
hesitate coming up here.
You're awful slow for a Jedi.
I need to wait for Anakin to cross the bridge before it breaks. Even if he has reached across the bridge and you go too fast on the bridge, it will still lock progression of the game.
What do you want?
I'm gonna grab a voice line on Anakin here to hopefully
I'm trying
not
to
get it
my
later.
pod
I
racer
might
ready
still
for
get
the
it, but
race.
it's okay.
My special engine design.
You have to
will
wait
make
for
the fastest
Watto
pod
anyways
racer in
before
the
you can
galaxy.
even interact with him, so.
I'm looking for
And
T14
I'm gonna trade
hyperdrive
him an
generator.
item that I picked up in the last level.
I will
Not
give you a
because I
portable
need what he
fusion
gives
coil
me,
from
but
Naboo in
literally just
exchange
because
for
it ends the
T14.
conversation faster.
We have reached an agreement here.
Items from Naboo are in great demand here.
Alright. There's
What do you
also a
need
random
to fix
chance
your
that
pod
Anakin
racer?
dies when I run away here.
What about Watto?
Just, I think he
what I
despawns
can
and the
do.
game considers him dead. So,
Hello.
hopefully that doesn't happen.
Stop pushing
I think
me!
we're in the clear. Yeah, he didn't die, so we're good. Alright, so now for the level to end here, I need one more pod racer part, and I need
Hello,
Jar Jar at
Daddy
the end of
Jedi.
the level. So we're gonna start getting Jar
Find Watto's
Jar to
shop
the
and
end
wait
of the
there till I
level.
return.
Bye-bye.
And remember when I said that if I commit hostility, it'll soft lock the level? That actually only happens after a certain amount of time has passed. So this guy up here has the pod racer part I need. And now he doesn't. I do. So, from the time that Jar Jar gets here, like, I will still be okay to end the level. But if I wait too long, it'll soft lock the level.
Jar Jar. I'm trying to get my pod racer ready for the race. My special
So,
engine design
now
will
we
make
can just
the
end the
fastest
level?
pod racer in the galaxy.
You are a talented boy, Anakin. I'm certain you will succeed.
Alright, and just like that, we did no trading, no side questing. We just kind of took everything. You know, the honorable Jedi way. PogChamp. Jar Jar Pog. Alright, Mos Espa Arena. This level is incredible. Tons of sequence breaks. There's a couple boss fights. It's non-stop with this one.
Meet you at Anakin's pod race
So
before the
normally
race
you
starts.
have to go through a lengthy
with
sequence
Jabba
of
and
following
Watto.
a very slow NPC to get you around this gate. But as you guys know in true GDQ fashion, walls are
Hello.
suggestions. And we kind of just give it a second. Give it a second. Hold.
Give me
Hold.
some room.
Thanks for the voice line, buddy.
Yep. Alright, we gave him some room. We're in there. And we're also going to clip into this wall. Eventually. Like, honestly, like, everything in this game is random. There we go. Now, for the fan favorite, Jabba the Hutt.
The almighty Jabba.
Release me immediately.
Nago kato gonka chopase, Jedi.
I will not serve Jabba.
Alright, so this here is a very nerve-wracking boss fight. If the boss happens to get loose,
Then the awesome Jabba
it can
will find
derail
sufficient
so easily.
entertainment
So
by
I'm
watching
gonna
you die
attempt
like
to
a
stun
coward.
lock the boss in its own spawn before it can even start moving.
Dakin bara.
Alright, we will most certainly take a save here because this is an area where you can most certainly die. I'm literally going to be running into the spikes to try to push him back, so I will be taking a lot of damage here. But he does eventually push you out of the spikes. Hopefully he doesn't go forward. Alright, we were successful. Alright, alright, alright. So now normally you have to go on a side quest here, buy a stranger a couple drinks so that he introduces you to Watto. But I'm gonna clip... Yeah, I'm going to clip into this wall here. And also I can die very easily. Like if I go even just a little bit too far forward here, I fall through the map. So, alright, we're good. Not yet though. Alright, I didn't fall through the map even once. Normally that happens like 3 times. Yeah, please clap, thank you. So, and also in order to get through that door, we just jumped on a vent.
Go away. Water will be...
You again.
You should hire better guards.
That is the wrong voice line.
It's hard to find the good.
I guess we just had to throw some shade at Watto.
Generator.
You are
Okay. It didn't mess up the voice lines though.
But if Anakin Skywalker wins the race, you will grant the boy his freedom and give me the T-14. If he loses, you can keep one of the fastest pod racers
This is
ever
probably
built.
the biggest time save
In either
without
case,
having
you can
voices
have my
on, because
money.
these voice lines are really long.
He will be piloting my pod racer. It is the fastest in the galaxy.
Okay.
Alright, so one thing we haven't really shown in this
Anakin
game
deserves
is
this
fall
opportunity
damage
to
is
earn his freedom.
incredibly lethal.
It's a good
Like,
bet
you
for
drop
me.
1 foot
Especially
and you
since
die.
your pod racer doesn't seem
But
to
for
be
some
working
reason-
anyway.
If you land right there, you don't take fall damage. For absolutely no reason. So, yeah. We can skip going through the bar again. And, you know, going down the ramps and everything to get outside.
Hey, That thief just stole my ignition capacitor!
So, Anakin got another pod racer part stolen, so we gotta chase this guy down to predetermined locations in order to get the part back. Gonna be taking a slight detour here, because look at this wall. It's not a wall. It's a secret. And now we have the flash grenades from the movie.
From the movie?
From the movie. But alright, so, yep, just following this guy around. And this is another amazing part of the game where I can throw grenades and they just fall through the level and don't explode. So this is actually going to be another safety safe spot. Actually, I can save over Trade Federation. It's not a big deal. All right, so hopefully my grenades work.
You're looking for Anakin's ignition capacity. Well, you'll have to go through me if you want.
All right. Very nice. We got the part back. In true Jedi fashion. And now, this is pod racing.
Thanks, Qui-Gon. I'll do my best.
The racers are
Except we don't get to watch a pod race. We get to watch people watch a pod race.
Hurry, Master Anakin! I have a bad feeling.
I hope you all enjoy this.
They're coming up to the final lap. Sebulba still has the lead.
With Skywalker gaining ground.
Yeah, Railku, we got
Listen,
any
this
like
is
sort of
it
info
yet.
on upcoming GDQ stuff?
Upcoming in
That's
GQ stuff?
Here he comes now.
Well, this week, this Friday indeed, there's actually a new show starting. Have you heard about this?
A new show?
Yeah.
New show?
We got a show with Big John and the Blacktastic called Super Boss Brothers. It's gonna be a game show with people competing, playing retro speedruns.
Alright, I'm down for that. I know I've seen Big John do like Prices Right and stuff. I'm stoked for that. Also, shouts out to Bobby.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun, and they are in fact half brothers, so the brothers thing is appropriate.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, dude.
Let's take that hyperdrive unit from Watto and leave this planet.
And I'm sorry, when is that?
It's Friday, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm working with them, trying to get assets going. You know, the first episode might not be super pretty, but we're working on making some fun assets for the game show in the future.
Yeah, cool.
Forgive me if I
Alrighty,
seem
so
unappreciative.
this level is where we meet Darth Maul. And it's another very short level. It's kind of a double skip that I can do.
along,
We're
Anakin.
guaranteed to get one of the
Destiny
skips,
awaits.
but the second one, we don't know. It's actually kind of funny if we don't get the second skip, because Darth Maul is going to wall us off by dropping a bunch of boulders. You can skip the animation of the boulders falling, but it's funnier if you don't, because Qui-Gon gets crushed, but you still actually make it on the other side. And I'm going to do it by wall boosting into the trigger, which is coming up right here. So let's see if I can get it. All right. We didn't get the double skip. Yes. Sorry, guys. Qui-Gon dies early. But yeah, don't worry. He's okay now. He's okay.
Look out!
And I want to see if I can get a glitch called Darth Wall. I actually named it yesterday. All right, so let's see. Come over here. All right. If he can jump into this wall. Oh! Come on.
Almost.
Jump into the wall. Jump into the wall. Yes! You can see he's stuck in the wall. Yes! I didn't think I was going to get it.
Darth Wall get.
I'm happy we got it for at least a second. Also, this area where Qui-Gon was just standing there, that's totally random as to when he starts moving. It's called Quick Gone when he moves it instantly, but yeah, that was random. Yeah, dude, you guys were here for Darth Wall. But all right, the meme level.
I'm relieved we've reached
The
Coruscant
meme
safely.
level.
Now we need only find Senator Palpatine.
Your Highness, Obi-Wan and I must present Anakin to the Jedi Council.
Very well.
So here we play as
Panaka and I
Captain
will be quite
Panaka.
safe, I'm sure. It's only
He
a
doesn't
short
have a
air
double
taxi
jump.
ride to the Senate.
Obviously doesn't
Thank you
wield
for your help.
lightsabers.
May the Force be with you.
You can
Take care,
get
Your
the
Highness.
infinite
The
saber
Force
glitch
be with
with
you.
his punches, but it doesn't do
Long
enough
Anakin,
damage for us.
Your destiny awaits.
So we will be
Welcome
just
to
using
Coruscant,
blasters.
Your Highness. Please allow me to show you to your air
And
taxi.
it's another Queen Escort mission.
This way, Your Highness. This way, Your Highness. This way, Your Highness.
Alright, so our air taxi unfortunately got exploded. So we're gonna take an alternate route.
We must find a way to escape this platform.
Alright, so also here,
Hurry!
if the Queen takes damage... Alright, I had to tank the bullets for the Queen because if she takes damage and is laying down when I try to start this elevator, we'll get a game over. Like, it'll instantly kill the Queen. I've also had it where I randomly just fell off the lift when it was moving, so kind of happy that hasn't happened yet. Alright, so hopefully she follows me.
Do you think it is safe to
Alright, so
proceed?
normally you would do some side questing here in order to get tickets to an exhibit. That's our ticket. And for some reason the door still opens. So yeah, no side quests. But yeah, so we're gonna shoot this hover cannon here. But I'm sure that more will be coming. And we have to get out of here.
I'm not jumping down there. We have to get out of here.
Alright, so... Normally, you would be raising a platform that allows the Queen to follow us into the next area. We're gonna skip that. But normally, if you try to do that, the game will kill the Queen because you're too far away from the Queen. But luckily, we have a super ultra advanced method in order to avoid killing the Queen.
We have to get out of here.
And that super ultra advanced tech is literally run against this wall. So we have successfully skipped the Queen getting captured. And as a result, the Queen will continually repeat her dialogue because the sequence never ended. Also, this is probably a decent spot for a safety save in this level. It's got a pretty long intro sequence, so it would be a shame if I got my jump eaten here and I fell off the map. All right, nice.
More
Also,
hover cannons will be
I can
coming.
press circle and the voice lines happen.
They'll be coming back soon. More hover cannons will be coming. We have to get out of here.
Alright, chat. How many hover cannons
we
will
have
there
to
be?
get out of here. More hover cannons will be coming.
More. Unfortunately, it doesn't allow you to spam it when your movement's locked, so I can't do it on this elevator ride. But we got a room here full of enemies, and for some reason, you only need to kill this guy. And once you kill that guy, this barrier lowers and you can go into the next area.
They'll be coming back soon.
Yeah, I know, Queen. I heard you the first 50,000 times.
Chat's really curious about the hover cannons. Or how are the hover cannons doing, Dave?
More hover cannons will be
You
coming.
just heard it from the Queen. More will be coming. We must hurry.
We have to get out of
Alright,
here.
so
More
instead of
hover
lowering
cannons
this
will be
elevator,
coming.
I'm gonna clip out of the map and jump up the elevator as it's raised.
I'm really hungry. Got any spare food?
Guys, what are you eating right now?
They'll be coming back
Anybody
soon.
snacking on anything tasty?
We have to get out of here.
And utilize some more wall boosting here, because yes, even Captain Panaka can wall boost.
More hover cannons will be coming.
Oh, really? Gonna grab this key card here to the
We have to get
Queen's
out of
cell.
here. They'll be coming back
Yeah, because even
soon.
though the Queen was never captured, she's here, I guess.
More hover cannons will be coming.
She's been saved.
We have to escape before they get back. We have to get out of here. They'll be coming back soon. We must hurry. Lead on. More hover cannons
All
will
right,
be
time
coming.
for incredibly complicated puzzle
Becoming
here,
more hover cannons
which
will
is
be
pretty
coming.
much press the switches in
Must
the order
hurry.
that they appear.
I'm right behind. We have to get out of here. More hover cannons will be coming. We have to get out of here. They'll be coming back soon. More hover cannons will be coming. We have to get out of here. We must
And also,
hurry.
for some reason here, you can literally jump over the door. If you jump
to
over
get
the
out
door
of
and
here.
hit this elevator switch without opening the door for the queen, you soft lock the game. Alright, so here's the boss fight of the level. We're not gonna really enter the boss
More
arena
hover
though.
cannons will be coming.
Actually, you know what? Crazier things have happened in this game, so let's do a safety save, because why not? Yeah, I'm gonna clip out of the map again. Kinda stand up here, and I'm gonna shoot the boss from a range.
We have to get out of here.
And this guy likes to deflect your shots back at you, so I'm going to jump.
We must hurry.
Captain Panaka almost died.
We must reach Senator
You know
Palpatine's
what?
chambers as soon as possible.
I think he's good.
His health is not 0.
Yeah, and you just need it to be at least
We have
one.
to get out of here.
So, Queen, we're getting out of here. I can't make this elevator go any faster, okay? Also, take notice, guys. In the final cutscene here, the Queen will interrupt her
coming
own
back
dialogue with these sequences still, and it's actually pretty funny. Also, if you jump into this elevator here, or this lift, you can have it
There's
so
the
that the
Senate
Queen
chamber. More hover cannons will
enters
be
the
coming.
lift, but then exits for no reason, and then you leave without her, and the game soft locks when you reach the send sequence. There's about a million ways that you can soft lock this game, and you're constantly dancing around not soft locking the
We have to
game.
get out of here.
Alright, time for the best dialogue.
Your Highness, you're quite late. I was worried.
Hello, Senator. Thank you for allowing me to address the Senate. They'll be coming back soon.
My pleasure, Your Highness. However, I fear that it will do no good. While a fair man, Supreme Chancellor Valorum has shown that he lacks resolve. He has been unable to convince the Senate to help us.
We must hurry.
Yeah, that
Surely
actually
there
kinda
must be
makes
something
sense.
we can do. Naboo is suffering.
We may be able to get a quicker resolution. If you raise a vote of no confidence, we will be able to remove Valorum and elect someone with more authority.
They'll be coming back soon. If that is what it takes to free my people,
I
Senator,
wanted
then
to
that
hear a
is
more
what I'll
hover
do.
cannons line.
Excellent,
We got
Your
every
Highness.
single one besides
Right this
that
way.
one.
The Senate is about to convene.
Ah, rip the hover cannons. I guess they're not coming back anymore. Alright, so this next level is honestly, like, the longest casually. I'm actually you know, I think we got some time. I'm going to demonstrate what happens normally here. So normally, you enter this hangar, and now I'm not moving. I'm not doing anything. The game is controlling itself. And then you play a section as Padme, then you play a section as Obi-Wan, then you're back to Padme, and then back to Obi-Wan here.
Prepare to become.
We're gonna kind of disregard all of that.
Panaka, keep going. We'll deal with this villain.
So, in order to get back to the beginning of the level, we're gonna kind of take a death warp here. Sorry, Padme. Alright, so let me show you how it's actually done. Do you guys want to know how you don't get pulled into the cutscene? It's really complicated. It's really complicated. I'm gonna never let go of triangle, which is force. As long as I hold triangle, we will never get pulled into the cutscene. I'm gonna walk over here. I'm gonna clip into the ship, clip up here, clip out of bounds, and go to the end of the level. And if I die, it's okay, the level ended.
It's still so silly. I've seen it a bunch of times, but
This entire game is just ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
The final
so
battle.
Ridiculous. Yeah, last level, man.
To
Our
remain here
time
and
is
guard our
almost
escape.
up.
We need to find the Viceroy.
Our time is almost up. So similarly, this is a level that has Padme. Oh, I didn't mean to shoot that guy. He said save me. I think he's safe. Oh, he's not saved. He's not saved. Alright, so normally you play as Padme, then you play as Obi-Wan, then you play as Padme, then you play as Obi-Wan, Padme, Obi-Wan. You know, you switch a bunch of times. We are not gonna do that. Alright, this is random skip. I'm gonna use the box to clip out of bounds and literally just hold jump and forward. And whenever I clip up, I clip up. Alright.
So hopefully chat's doing well today. Oh, you got it fast.
Yeah, now I'm gonna navigate blindly. Hopefully not. Void out. Alright. Yeah, you can fall through the map there in a million places. Alright, so now we're gonna go Rambo.
I think we need to inform chat that there's probably no more hover cannons coming. They're very disappointed by this, but...
Me too, you know. It's okay. Alright, so I had to get a safety health there because I kind of took a lot of damage trying to enter in this room. Yeah, this game has no concept of difficulty, by the way. Everything hits so hard, and there's a million enemies. I still might die. Okay, I think we're good. Also, normally you would have to, like, move boxes in order to get this key. You can do that. So now we got the red key. Do some platforming to do that. And even though we don't enter the door here, it still brings us to the next section. Oh, hello? It activated, but it didn't activate. I am confused. Alright, let's do that one more time. Alright. So yeah, we're gonna not enter the door, but still proceed, because video games. And this isn't supposed to be the final Obi-Wan section, but it kind of is. Gonna save you safe here, because all the platforming here is very finicky. Also, the music's broken. Yep, I got my jump eaten. Sometimes when you land, you can't jump for some reason. But I need to make a very tight elevator cycle here. So the music was broken, but because I save loaded, we got the music back. See, I did it for that reason. All right, we made elevator cycle. And I'm actually gonna take a safety save here because this jump can be finicky. So we're gonna just jump down into this window here, which skips quite a bit of the level. All right, we got it first try. This part, though, is kind of precise. Requires a precise lineup. I'm gonna line up my lightsaber UI against this purple beam right there. Backflip up here, narrowly avoiding a Obi-Wan trigger, where normally this is the start. Oh. Well, I just died. Okay, let's run that back. No. I got my double. Yeah, sometimes, like, when you jump, you can't get a double jump for, like, no reason. So I'll be able to show that again, and you guys can pay attention to my lightsaber UI, where I'm lining it up against the purple beam. It's a very, very nice setup. I want to say shout out to St. Million and Purry Purry. I learned everything about this game from watching their runs. St. Million was the one who did this run at HDQ 2019. Very awesome, dude. But alright, so lining up the lightsaber UI, jumping. So even though that is the start of an Obi-Wan section, because we didn't reach it by traditional means, if I were to touch that, that would put me back to the next Padme section. Alright, we didn't die to the elevator jump. The rare elevator jump death. But alright, chat, I need you to do just one more thing for me today. You know, we are going to be having our good friend leaving us soon. So we need to ready our cries of no. We need to scream no as loud as we can. We need Darth Maul to hear us for taking our friend away from us. Oh, I got a good cycle on the doors.
Jedi, die.
No!
I have
Alright, guys.
killed your master, and now it is your turn
If you were
to
hoping
die,
for a
young
climactic
Jedi.
boss fight, I'm sorry to disappoint, because literally I'm gonna get infinite saber glitch. And I'm gonna stand in the final boss, and his AI doesn't know how to react to it. Let's see if the health bar works. Oh, the health bar's working. A lot of times the health bar doesn't work. Time is coming up, by the way, when I lose control of Obi-Wan. Time.
Master, you're injured.
Yes, my Padawan. The Sith has struck a mortal blow.
Awesome, guys. I'm
speak
sure
that
Qui-Gon heard ya.
You will survive.
Darth Maul was flabbergasted.
My
He didn't
time,
move an
Obi-Wan.
inch.
Soon I will
Thank you
become
guys
one
for
with the
having my
Force.
back.
But Obi-Wan, you must promise.
But
me.
alright. And for beating this game, you're
Obi-Wan,
rewarded
you must
with
train Anakin.
where all the budget of this game went.
What is the
You know,
Council's
this
decision?
final cutscene. It is immaculate. I hope you guys
Skywalker is
enjoy
the
it.
chosen one. Use all that I have
Also,
taught you to train him.
the final voice line
Yes,
doesn't
Master.
play.
I swear it will
He
be
normally
so.
says, "May the Force be with you." I don't even know who says it,
Obi-Wan,
but it never
you are
plays.
no longer my
But you see the
student.
subtitle.
You have become a Jedi Knight.
So you got to voice act it for us, Dave.
Force will be with you always.
See, may the Force be with you. Yeah, it's like it just doesn't play. All right, now time for the Walmart action figures.
Walmart action figures.
I don't know. Anakin, he gives me nightmares. Like, take a look at this action shot of Anakin. Ugh. And then why they decided to end the game on this shot. This embodies the Phantom Menace. But guys, if you thought the memes were over, I've got one more meme for you.
Oh
This
boy.
This game was made for speedrunning. It has an in-game timer.
Right.
Let's see how well we did.
I forgot about this.
2 hours, 73 minutes, and 1 second. 2 hours, 73 minutes, and 1 second. Okay, so let me actually break this down for you, because it does make sense. It does make sense. If you look at the tens column for the seconds, you will see 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So completely disregard the tens column. And then take all the numbers you have left. So you have 2731, 2,731. That is how many seconds we have played the game. So if I take 2,731 seconds divided by 60, we played the game for 45.5 minutes in game time. 45.5 minutes in game time. Why the timer is programmed like that, I don't know. But I got the rating of Jedi Master, so I don't really care. Railgun, how are we doing on time? Do I have 2 minutes to show a glitch?
Yeah.
All right. This is the classic glitch that everybody loves to see. Everybody loves to see this one. Absolutely everybody loves to see this one. So, we're going to go back to Boss Espa, where we are going to say hi to Anakin. Some of you may be familiar with this glitch shown at AGDQ 2019.
Hi.
It's the best glitch in the game.
I've heard much about you.
You're a Jedi, aren't
So, you
What are
know,
you building?
normally wants
Will
us
you
to
help me
follow him
find
through the
Washington?
junkyard.
Follow me. We'll head through the junkyard. It's faster.
And I'm gonna inch up close enough so that he moves away. But I'm not gonna follow him. In fact, I'm gonna actually kind of speed up the plot of everything and, yeah, Anakin's mom. Don't worry about it. And now we wait. And...
I won't help a murderer like you.
Hi, Anakin. He can give us speed. He's helping us speed run.
help a murderer like you.
Oh, hi, Anakin. Okay, yep, and he's just T-posing on us, and, yeah, this game is a masterpiece. I hope you all enjoyed.
I won't help a murderer like you.
I hope you guys all enjoyed Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Memes. Ralcoon, thank you so much for allowing me to be on the show and showcase this amazing video game. Hope it was a pleasure to watch. Again, my name is Dave Stereo. Typically, I do Final Fantasy VII speedruns. Recently, my grind has been Final Fantasy VII. So if you guys are into that, feel free to drop me a follow. Would love to see you guys on the stream. I speedrun way too many games for my own good.
I won't help a murderer like you.
Way too many games for my own good. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed, would love to see you guys in the stream. But with that, honestly, again, hope you guys enjoyed the run. Hope you guys enjoyed everything. Hope you guys enjoyed the rest of the Star Wars block. I know we got Knights of the Old Republic, right? Knights of the Old Republic 2?
Yeah, KOTOR 2.
Alrighty, so with that, I think that's it for me. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you all enjoyed.
Yeah, thanks a bunch, Dave, for being on and showing us this gem of a game. It is actually pretty technical. I know some of the parts look more simple than they are, but Dave did a good job of avoiding all of the pits of death and such, and avoiding crashing the game, which is a constant struggle. So if you are interested in this game, check it out. It is actually a pretty fun speedrun. But we're going to take a quick break and play a few ads. We'll be back in just a few minutes with KOTOR 2.
I won't help him.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Community Spotlight. We are here with our final run of the night for our Star Wars edition. As I said at the start of the show, this started off just because there were a bunch of Star Wars games that were backup runs for SGQ that didn't make it on, and we just wanted to show off some Star Wars runs. So we grabbed a few extra on the side, and to round out the night, we've got Chaos Drifter here with us, going to do Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2. Got 30 on the side helping out with commentary. Hope you're both doing well today. But as a quick reminder, make sure you tune in tomorrow for Random Number Generation starting 7:30 p.m. Eastern. They're going to be doing Jet Set Radio Future. It's a pretty cool speedrun, and that's just a show about randomizers. And of course, Friday we're starting a new show, Super Boss Brothers, Big John, the Blacktastic. It's going to be a fun game show that you are all going to want to check out. But want to give you two a chance to introduce yourselves. How are you both doing today?
I'm doing pretty great. I'm really glad to be here. Thank you for letting the KOTOR community show everything off again. I'm really excited to do this. What about you, 30?
I'm really excited to do it too. It's really great to see KOTOR 2 finally get a really large recognition from a marathon like GDQ.
Yeah, so why don't you give us the rundown? I know a lot of people are going to be familiar with this game, but in case there's somebody watching who doesn't know this game, like, how would you introduce it to them? What can they expect to see today?
So, KOTOR 2 is really close to my heart. This is probably my favorite game of all time, even though I don't run it as much as I run KOTOR 1. If you want to play it casually, which I think where this game really shines, it is a really deep philosophy into what is the Force, what does it mean to be light side, dark side, all these kind of gray areas in between. But we don't see any of that in the run. So don't worry. This is basically almost spoiler free. Don't worry. This run is going to feature a whole bunch of glitches, just like K1, but even worse. This is probably... Gosh, this is the most glitched out version of the game possible because the devs just didn't have the time to fix everything beforehand. So we're going to be doing a whole bunch of funky stuff with some development tools that they left in the game and didn't realize that we would have access to. And we'll do a little bit of explanation of that when we go through.
Yeah, this you're all in for a treat on this one.
So yeah, I think I'm ready to start whenever you guys are.
I'm good to go when you are, so why don't we get 30 to give us a countdown?
Okay, it'll be on go.
Well,
after
first
one.
I'm going to explain the character build. First we pick Jedi Counselor, and then we could make a character, but instead we're going to click Quick Character, because we don't actually care about any of this stuff. And I need a good name. We could just go GDQ hotfix. All right. So, all right, I'm ready when you are, 30.
Okay. It's on go. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Good luck, dude.
All right. We're going to make a hard save here. Don't worry about it. We're going to be using it as a surprise tool later. Now, luckily, we get to just skip the tutorial for now. We're going to do a little glitch here. We're going to... Right now, we're sitting inside of this Kolto tank. Essentially, we were on the Ebon Hawk beforehand, stranded in space, and now we've woken up on in the Kolto tank. But I want to go back to the Ebon Hawk for a second. I think I left some stuff behind. So this is actually the main glitch we'll be using throughout the run. I'm gonna have to do it again just because I got unlucky. It's called a hot shot. You see this used a good bit in K1, but in K2 we're able to do a trick called hot shotting forward. So I can actually enter into zones that I've never actually fully entered into before. So the main character that I was has now entered into the Ebon Hawk and has now turned me into a development character, which has a whole bunch of things, like how I have a lightsaber, and we're gonna pick up 3CFD. He is the little droid who could, and now we're gonna leave. Got everything we needed. We're gonna do another hot shot and return back. And now it's time to actually play the game. So we're going to kill that there, and we're going to just start walking forward. So now we have our little droid 3CFD right behind us. We're going to... Whoops, a little bit too fast. We're going to enter into the morgue and pick the plasma torch off of that, and for some reason there's a zombie that seems to be waking up in the morgue. You know anything about this, 30?
What do you think about it?
Find what...
I think I'll just tell her to shut up. No big deal. There we
Agreed.
go. Alright, so now we're just gonna run towards getting to Atten. Atten's is one of my favorite characters in the game. Kind of like the Han Solo type, but he also has some other cool stuff that you can do too. It's got a really dark past like many of the other characters in it. Was 3C following me? No, he's not. Okay, that's fine. Thought I heard him tracking behind me.
So our main goal here is we also want 3CFD to follow us, and the thing that makes Paragus really difficult is that there's a chance where 3CFD could get stuck in between these droids, as you might see. Hopefully we don't see it, but we're going to be using 3CFD for quite a bit of stuff in this run, but I won't spoil a lot of it. You just have to see it.
Also, that's the only level up in the entire run. And this is supposed to be an RPG. So we talked to Atten here. It is possible that we could skip this this conversation here, but the issue is that we really need to set all these variables that are, like, there's a whole bunch of, like, things that happened in the previous game that are very important to later parts of the run, and if we don't do that, then it causes us to have another cutscene. This is some really bad RNG.
Yeah, that's unfortunately what's expected here of here on Paragus is, 3CFD could be really close or really far away, and in this case, unfortunately, Chaos got him to be really far away, that's not what we want.
I'm just going to show this real quick. So this is actually the development droid, so I can tell him that I would like to know when Lord Scion appears, which is what I just did there, which has now set us to being in a much later part of the run. And so now whenever I walk into this zone here, since I've already talked to Kreia and Atten, whoops, I'm now at the end of Paragus. So for everyone who likes the skipping Paragus mods out there you go. You can just do it that easy. No mods required. So now we do have to talk to Kreia again because she's actually not added to our party, and she is a required character for the run.
And if so, we must be on our guard.
And now we're going to talk to 3CFD. Let's not do it like that. There we go. Make a hard save.
Yeah, KOTOR is absent of party members. If you don't have like a specific party member, then the game acts really weirdly, such as cases like no cutscenes being able to play or soft locking the game. And if we don't have Kreia and Atten here, which is why we have to watch their cutscenes, the game will soft lock when we exit Paragus, so that's why we need both of them.
Alright, and if I've done all this right... Oh, that was some nice hotshot RNG. So all those menus were for a purpose, because now I'm just standing next to the Ebon Hawk. So yeah, this is probably one of the most boring
We're gonna need
parts
some time
of the
to
run
fire
right
up the
here.
engines. Let's give the laser turret a workout.
So just to quickly explain the hotshots there, I have the party members will warp to their XY coordinates if they're still in that module. So I'm able to move them to a spot whenever they're not in that XY coordinates, and they'll instead go to where the main character was standing in, which happens to be right next to the Ebon Hawk. And it's just a super convenient thing that just happened to work out really nicely for us. Like, it's really cool, like, if you actually, like, get in depth with it, but it's really complicated to try to explain at the moment. But anyway, I'm just killing these Sith troopers. Scion sent these guys because we are the Exile, and essentially we are considered a wound in the Force, and if we are left alive, then we'll presumably bring back the light side of the Force to the Jedi, who are now almost dead.
Chat is really happy that you're piloting a hover cannon after the last run. I need you to know this.
Alright.
Well, not like we have much of a choice.
Alright, so now...
You come.
Take care of all of that conversation there with Kreia. And now for the actual hard part of the run. In my opinion, this is when things start to get really crazy with hotshots. We're now going to return back to... That's the wrong save. That's the right save. We're now going to return back to Ebon Hawk here. And then we will make a hard save and then hotshot back again. And then this should put Atten and Kreia right next to the right within the Thorium module. So let's see if we've done this correctly. Nice, okay. Oh, and that was really good RNG. So that that cutscene, this cutscene here, can take some just random amount of times. There you are, Kreia.
I hear what you do.
We do need to... Oh, come on, cast the spell. There we go. Cool. Please stop running. Okay.
I hear you.
Fortunately, that fight went a little too well. I do have to head out here so that way I can use this terminal for just a second, so that way I can use it a little later. And that'll be important for whenever we leave. So, we've skipped the whole first portion to the Telos quest line here, which is whenever we're supposed to break out of jail because there was an assassination plot on us. It's a really cool like subplot to it, and the restoration mod goes a little bit more in detail with it. Oh wait, I need to do that afterwards.
For those who don't know, the restored content mod basically restores all the content that was cut from the game that Obsidian, who are the developers of this game, of KOTOR 2, was initially meant to put in, but they just didn't get it in time, or it was cut from the final game. And what the RCM mod allows is it restores all of that lost content.
Oh, another thing, you might have noticed this if you're paying attention, but my character portrait and my character model have completely changed. In fact, they don't even match. So you can see that this character model and the character portrait are totally different. Anyways, we're going to talk to Luxie here.
Hello there.
Okay, and so she gives us the quest to go and defeat the exchange. So now we will return back to the Ithorian module. Everyone following along at home? Everything's good?
You lost me a while back.
Yeah, this speedrun is it messes with your mind, basically, with what's going on here.
It's okay.
But don't worry, things get even more confusing later on.
It's okay, we can just admire that wonderful Jabba plushie hanging in from the side of your webcam there.
Oh, he's beautiful. And he's so squishy. Alright, so we're doing another hotshot here, so that way we can... oops, that is not the correct button for this game. Alright, there we go. We're doing another hotshot there, so that way we can just skip us ever having left. It just saves us a little bit of time. Oh, real quick, I've also forgotten to mention this. One of the big reasons why we're the development character... And, well, I mean, there's reason why we're the development character. One of the nice reasons is because we have a gun. Now, you might be thinking, oh, well, you have a lightsaber. Like, a lightsaber seems so much better than a gun. But what if I told you that a gun can defeat every single Sith Lord in one hit? But this gun has a plus 69 to hit, and it has a DC 100 instant death. So we're going to just one-shot everything in the game now. And then mash this conversation here. We're going to shoot all these guys here.
Yeah, so this is one of the reasons why, you know, this character, the dev character, is because we gain access to weapons that we're not meant to have. Well, not weapons, but only a singular weapon known as the Kill Blaster. And not only that, we also gain access to, yeah, the lightsaber too, but it's not as important. I mean, there is a purpose for the lightsaber in this run, but we never use it for combat-wise. But anyway, you also get all the important force powers in the run too, such as Master Heal, Master Force Speed, and you also gain Force Jump too, though while it's not used very much in this run, not as much anymore anyway. In fact, I don't even think it's actually used once in the entire run anymore.
I've used it once or twice, usually on accident. This is whenever my memory starts to get a little hazy. I think I hotshot, right? I don't remember. Did I make a hard save? Yeah, I did. Okay.
Oh, you dead, I saw.
Telos is really complicated. I've kind of like neglected to explain what's happening a little bit here, but essentially we are taking care of a whole bunch of things for Chota Habat because he's promised to tell us how to. Oh, yes. Did I get the Zerka? Did I get the entertainment module stuff? I don't remember. Guess we'll find out. Oh, what is this conversation?
1 and then 2 spam.
Okay.
I hear you.
Transit 2. I did not. Okay, alright. I'm just bad at this game. That's fine. You know, we'll actually just come back to here. We'll do this the traditional way, the original way we did this. Okay, hard save here. And we're going to set up for another coordinate warp. So this is the final task that Chota Habat sent us on. And that's to figure out what's happening inside of the mainframe. So we're going to put Kreia into the corner where she belongs. And then return back to the Zerka offices.
Okay. And also, for some reason, turning into the dev character, for some reason, changes your portrait, but your model's different. And I just never have been able to understand that reason at all.
I should also clarify real quick. We're supposed to do that whole thing with us going into the mainframe as B4D4. So now that I've already gotten that stuff, I can just immediately turn in that quest. And now I have to talk to Chota about it one more time. And now we are off to... There's my autosave. Now we are off to the Telos Restoration Zone. I'm tired of seeing the city. I want to go to some lush green lands. Whoops. Okay, there we go. I just clicked out of my screen for a second. Mash conversation there. All right, and then as soon as this loading screen ends, all right, so we're going to add 3CFD, who he's got some more things for us to do, which now I'm going to add all the companions, and now I have everyone. Everyone's here.
Everyone except Myra, but you can't get Myra as when you do this because 3CFD is occupying her spot. So even if you were to do this casually, you wouldn't be able to without completing the game without glitches.
Yeah, the whole Myra deal makes things like all planets and all quests really complicated.
Very.
Now, to explain what I'm doing here, this is what's called save teleports. Essentially, I'm able to skip a certain amount of distance while I'm quick saving. So it saves a considerable amount of time in the long run, even in RTA.
This is basically what made force jumps obsolete.
Yeah. Okay, there we go.
But if you were doing a category like glitchless, for example, you want to pick the Guardian because of the long distance force jumps, because we can't use save teleports in that category, as quick saves are also banned.
Oh, my game crashed.
Rip.
Oh god. Well, good thing you're spamming quick saves.
Yeah, so if you quick save into a mine, if I don't know exactly the spot it is, but like you have a chance to just completely crash your game. The mines are honestly the scariest part of this whole run. Oh, and I'm so glad I got that first try, of course. Definitely did not go wrong any other time.
I think save teleporting just into a mine, for some reason, I don't know why, it crashes the game.
I forgot to add, there we go.
This game is just weird sometimes.
Make a second hard save? Yeah, I did. Okay, alright, good. Look, we got a lot going on here. Okay, so now we're going to make another hard save and then load back to the military base. That way Kreia will hotshot to the coordinates here that we want, which will put her right next to the shuttle, if I did it correctly. Another thing is that all these hotshots that I'm doing are actually, there's a little bit of RNG to them. There's this chance that they just basically don't work. I did not mean to use force speed there. But that's okay. It'll look more appealing to you guys. We're now going to get rid of the lightsaber and the kill blaster and give them to Kreia. You can really use them right about now.
It is open.
We're going to take some risky strats. We're not going to bother with killing those droids.
That's very risky.
I got time I have to make up. Honestly, I never kill them, so I think it's a waste of time.
It is open.
Oh, please do not stun me. Thank you.
This part is really scary, especially with Kreia due to her low vitality, but the way I usually do it here is I like to bring Visas. It doesn't really matter who you really bring here. You can bring Visas, you can bring Kreia here.
You have to use both.
But yeah, you have to use both.
You need them both to have a lightsaber equipped at some point or another. Nope.
Yeah, because they're the only two party members in the game that are Jedi, like right off the bat, is Kreia and Visas. And if main character, you're also a Jedi at the start of the game, but party member wise, it's only Visas and Kreia that are Jedi.
It is open.
All right, so we're gonna do a little bit more save teleporting around in here. Now you might be thinking, if you play this game casually, it doesn't really seem like I have enough time to finish this run. Like, on schedule, honestly. Oh, we got a few more tricks up our sleeve. Because normally, right before this point, we have to go to the Polar Academy and then deal with all 4 of the... Oh, apologies. Deal with all of the Jedi Masters on all the different planets. But there's something that's going to make that a little bit faster than what we normally do. I didn't need to add the Kill Blaster there. I just wanted to. Alright, we do need to get this footlocker here. It contains the data pad for the shuttle for us to use it. We're going to do a little bit more safe teleporting here. Oh, I got this cutscene again. Whatever. Alright. I don't want to deal with you guys.
Yeah, so there's this cutscene where we skipped earlier. Apologies. Where this Twi'lek convo, his conversation trigger is not so far wide out, so you can like walk around it and avoid talking to him that way.
Go ahead and post the poll.
Okay.
So we got something a little fun coming up that I had planned. It's going to cost us a little bit of time, but I think it'll be fairly entertaining. So I need you guys to choose what kind of lightsaber we're going to use for the rest of the run.
Oh boy.
Now I've already decided we're going to do a double-bladed. Okay. Double-bladed for life, no question. But
double blade for life, dude.
Alright, so now we're going to make a hard save here in the academy itself, and we're going to reload this underground base save.
It's real close between White and Violet right now. We'll see which one wins.
A little bit more time.
It's really torn between White and Violet. Holy moly. What's it gonna be? Oh, Violet won by 1.
Violet with the last second win.
Whoops, I did not mean to click that. Okay,
White and Violet were just neck and neck.
Alright, so for the people who really wanted to see White, I'll give it to them real quick. Just that way you can see it. I can make it. Alright, there it is. And Violet is 6. Alright, and then I need the Kill Blaster again. Alright. Where's Zez-Kyle now? Oh, right, the whole... 2 things. So, first of all, we can just make lightsabers here. Second of all, there's this line right here. Right there. Which is an actual dev line, which is fantastic. And third thing, we're in the end game now, boys. Alright, so by just pressing a button, I have now entered into the end game, which means I've skipped all of the Jedi Masters that we normally have to deal with in some form or fashion, and we can head right to Atris and deal with her and all of her Sith holocrons. She talks about some woman who says that we were going to come to her, but we just shoot her in the face and she's done. Save yourself.
Save yourself.
I can't remember if I'm supposed to AMG this or if I'm supposed to buffer it. Okay, that works.
Hard buffering is faster.
There we go.
So yeah, if you're wondering what just happened, don't worry. I'm wondering the same thing too, even to this day.
Oh, I got that skip. That skip's really tight. You barely have enough distance with your save teleport to get past that guy's trigger.
Yeah, that save teleport is pretty tight. If I don't, like, it's not a big deal if you do miss it. It's like about a half a second time loss, maybe even 1 second.
Where? right, so now we're gonna skip another cutscene. And, you know, actually, I kind of missed the Zerka offices. So let's head back to there. Now, interestingly, because we've done hot-shotting forward, B4D4 really wants to talk to us again. Now, I did get some complaints in my... all right, Moza, about us not having a very particular droid in our previous run, so I figured let's go ahead and include him in this one. Well, HK-47 is going to be used, and we're going to use Goto.
Well, there y'all go. You
Okay, so
wanted
we're gonna
HK-47, you're getting HK-47.
I think this is about right. This
Thankfully,
is honestly a little bit
though,
of a bad idea, because like these guys are not going to be able to wield the lightsaber, but that's okay.
Thankfully, though, that, you know, these Coronet hotshot warps are not too precise.
Don't worry, we'll be using HK a little later. Okay, and then... Okay, so Goto is going to be the one who's running across the hallway of death. Okay. You got this, Goto. You know what? Droid defense barrier on. Let's go.
This hallway is
gosh.
extremely scary.
Huh. Seems totally safe to me. His defense barrier was fantastic.
In an actual run, we use Kreia here, and that is extremely scary if you don't pay attention to her health. And considering that she has very low vitality, she can die so easily here.
Right. We want to use Kreia because she can wield a lightsaber, and while it may be a little better if we could use Visas, she would trigger some cutscenes throughout the Ravager because this is her old home. Spoilers. Alright, so, with all of that done, Goto is now going to take us to that. Side note, we kind of skipped over this. We set all these like bombs inside of the Ravager for later. We're gonna pull my lightsaber out here. This is gonna be really important, actually. So we set all these bombs in the Ravager so that way we can blow this place up whenever we're done. All right. I need to make sure I don't die here. Sometimes all of a sudden, like, they just really just deal a lot of damage to you. That is very bad. Can you please not? Can you please cast heal? That is not good. Like that. That could just happen.
Alright, yeah, this is just really, really bad RNG.
Oh no. Okay. Oh.
Wow.
Alright. That was cool.
They all really wanted to take a hit at you.
Right. It's time to pull a gun out against the Sith Lord. So, Nihilus is probably one of the most intimidating Sith Lords in, like, the entire, like, legends of Star Wars. He's basically Galactus. He eats the Force off of planets to sustain his life. He does this for fun, and you know what? I have a gun. Oh, he might take 2 shots, so we'll shoot him again. That's it. And he only gives you 250 XP.
So you're saying we just learned the question to who would win, one Sith boy or a blaster?
Yep.
Well, we got your answer.
And we definitely shot first. Like, Nihilus just barely raised his lightsaber up and we shot him twice. Alright, we're now going to set up HK into a specific spot here. Right at this door. And now we'll leave. Okay, this is one of the only cutscenes we can't skip.
It would save 52 seconds if we found a way to skip this cutscene.
So if one of you know how to skip this cutscene, check us out on the KOTOR Discord. We'd love to know. If you just are interested in this run, or if you're interested in KOTOR 1, which is a really cool category too, cool game too, just check us out. You can find us really easily on the SRC page, and there's links to our Discord there. And we have a bunch of guides for both KOTOR 1 and KOTOR 2 on there. Really in depth, so from written to video, so you have a whole bunch of different ways to learn these glitches. I'm gonna skip this conversation, even though there's much to be done. So yeah, come check us out if you really like this kind of stuff. If you don't even like the glitches, but you just like the games, still come by. We got plenty of stuff for you. All right, so here we're going to now return back to the Zerka offices one more time. It's the Zerka's offices, right? Oh wait, no, not anymore. It's the entertainment module. That's right. Wait, or is it the Zerka module? No, that's a different thing. That's all planets. It is the Zerka offices.
It is the Zerka office.
You know which hotshot I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I do.
So we're gonna return to the Zerka offices.
All planets.
Let's give some love to, you know what, the Handmaiden.
All planets is a really interesting category too. Basically, every planet we skipped in the run, you do all of them in that category, but it's also really, really broken. Just to Red Mage, by the way, for that.
Idea. This could be a problem now that I think about it. We'll see. Because I do not have save teleports on this, right?
No, you don't.
Okay. We'll see how this goes. I was trying to just have fun, game. Please don't be mean. Oh no, he's coming. Oh god, he's coming. I can hear him.
The Handmaiden at least has pretty high vitality.
Alright. Oh, she passed her save. Nice. Totally planned. Nothing went wrong at all. Alright, we're gonna make a hard save here, and we're gonna delete this save here, and the save there, and we're now going to... Oh, actually, I didn't have to do that. Is that right? Oh, actually, I didn't have to make a hard save there. I'm dumb. There we go. This should work. All right, and now HK is next to the Atreus Academy. So now we enter into the Atreus Academy, and we're going to do it again. And this will put us right next to the end. The coordinates work out just perfectly for all this. And I can't think of anything more appropriate than giving the Kill Blaster to HK. Assuming he lives. Oh, I forgot. I need to hit this trigger with the MC. I always forget this conversation. I have come to kill you. Whoop! Target her! Not the lightsabers! There we go. It's done. Time.
GG, dude.
Sorry,
also,
I didn't know time was coming up, but...
Also, little thing to have mentioned there. Chaos didn't do it, but it's possible to skip Darth Treyas, which is what Kreia is known as now. It's possible to skip her first phase.
Save me.
But, you know, it doesn't take any time to, takes a little time at all to, just end the first phase intentionally.
But yeah, that's KOTOR 2 any %. Hope everyone else had fun with that. I hope everyone else had fun with the other hotfix Star Wars runs today.
I did. All those runs were really good.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thanks for coming on and rounding off our showcase today. Do you have any shoutouts you'd like to give before we wrap things up?
Well, you know, there's one important shout out. So if you just like watching the run, if you don't think you're interested in, you know, what's going on with that, another thing that's going on right now is we actually have a team tournament that's taking place between me and 30. I'm running the Knights of Chaos versus the Fellowship of 30, and we have 4 other team members for each of our teams. and we're basically just trying to teach as many people as possible about the run. So I'll just shout out everyone on each of our teams. So I got Whirlwolf, Sanjan, Sea Dubs. We got Red Mage on my team, and then 30 you have.
I have Ravenclaw, Relentant, I have Range, and I have Shoal.
So yeah,
Shoal
so
the
you'll be
Scrub.
seeing all of us running K2 a lot over this next month, and you'll be seeing a lot of races taking place between us. So if you just like watching the speed run, just check us out. We'll be on all the time right now, and I'm sure someone else can do a better job explaining instead of in the middle of a run about what's going on. But yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot for being on, both of you, and as well everybody else who was on today. It was fun showcasing some Star Wars speedruns. If you have a game or a series of games you think deserves a spotlight, you can type !spotlight and chat, and there's a form you can fill out there to suggest a game you think should be on this show. We love hearing from you. A lot of the games that we show off on this weekly showcase come from that form, so do let us know if you think there's something you really want to see on this show. But make sure you tune in tomorrow for Random Number Generation at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and the premiere of Super Boss Brothers this Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern. But with that, we are going to take a short break, play a few ads, and then we're going to raid someone, so that if you just want to watch more speedruns, you can just stick through the ads, and then we'll send you off to somebody else's speedrunning after that. So stick around, and we'll see you tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Eastern.